Pass. 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group Station. Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox snapped a 4-game losing streak last night with a much-needed 5-4 win over Texas at Fenway Park. The Sox got 2 in the bottom of the 10th for the win after blowing a 3-1 lead in the 7th inning. Rob Refsnyder's RBI single was the difference. They'll play the Rangers again tonight. In other Sox news, Jiren Duran was suspended for 2 games without pay by the team after directing an anti-gay slur towards a fan while batting on Sunday. As for the Patriots, they'll hold a joint practice with Philadelphia this morning ahead of an exhibition game between the two teams in Foxborough on Thursday night. The practice begins at 10:30 a.m. in Foxborough and is open to the public. As for yesterday, the Patriots went through a short, non-padded workout, and after suffering an apparent leg injury on Sunday, Hunter Henry was among the missing, along with cornerback Jonathan Jones. ESPN reported yesterday multiple teams have contacted the Patriots about a possible trade for hold-in defensive lineman Matthew Judon. Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick has told the team he wants to be traded. He's entering the final year of his contract and has held out ever since camp began. The team responded quickly yesterday by saying they have no intention of dealing him. Top Detroit running back Jahmyr Gibbs injured a hamstring at practice last night, and the Celtics will reportedly open up the 2024-2025 NBA season on October 22nd at TD Garden against the Knicks. Players will get their championship rings, and the franchise will raise another banner to the rafters. The NBA Cup schedule will be announced this afternoon. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Enjoy quick and convenient vehicle maintenance this month. Visit NewEnglandOilChange.com for 15% off your drive-through oil change at Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Now open in Weymouth, Canton, Bedford, and Natick. I'm John Wallach at Boston Hill for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 6:30.
This is Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown turns the corner. A finger roll is up and good. Score in the foul.
Listen to home of the Boston Celtics, 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Celebrating 15 years as Boston's home for sports. Thank you, Boston. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fred, hello. 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 Mm-hmm. Hello. Hello. Hello.
He's naked. He has a sword.
Hi. Somebody about with a football.
98.5. The Hub.
Bruins are back from the West Coast.
Cocaine and hookers. Yes. Na 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 na.
Is it okay to use this for the radio?
Yeah. Welcome to the show, you sweet bitch.
Instagram. Yeah. You're, I should be saying.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. We are Toucher and Hardy. Compare Tower Studios. You can call 617-779-0985. We are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. And you can watch us, and it's very exciting. This, that, and the third. Now, Fast and Furious is on USA.
Yes, I noticed.
You know, he's this is the first one.
Yep, the very beginning of the very first one.
Yeah.
Is he wearing suspenders, or is that like a 5-point harness that he's wearing?
It's a 5-point harness.
Yeah.
I mean, look at
they're Mork from Mork suspenders.
No, you're driving a performance sports car. You want to strap yourself in.
No, he's Doug Henning. He's a illusion can be magic, and magic can be illusion.
Now, I know that Wallach at some point in his formal wear life wore suspenders.
No, I'm very proud to tell you I've never worn suspenders.
I don't believe you.
It's a true story.
You probably missed the suspenders era.
No, I never have worn suspenders. Well, I mean, I was a skinhead for several years.
Oh, okay.
It was
All right.
What color your braces were represented your feelings on politics.
Yeah.
But no, I never wore suspenders. I've never worn a pair of suspenders. I can't say I have.
Well, I don't know. In order for Wallach to make me believe you, I would also have to believe, and this is very difficult for me, that you never went to like prom or anything like that. So, because if you got dressed up for prom in the 80s, you were wearing suspenders.
No.
Didn't go to
suspend.
prom.
I went to prom. I went to prom.
No, John went to prom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
I went to prom.
We've been on, well, it's the 15th anniversary. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
Is this the one where you got shut out at the end of the night?
Oh, yeah. The girl I went with wore a hoop skirt to keep herself away from me. It was fantastic.
And a chastity belt.
Seriously. I mean,
that was the fashion of the time.
machinations just to get her into the damn car to bring her to this thing.
Now,
really
was it
something.
a prom or was it a sock hop?
She wore little
It was a
ducks
cotillion.
around the outside.
She was being introduced to society. She wore a hoop skirt, so it was like literally a dress with like something that kept the thing out.
The damn thing was wood all the way around the inside. True story.
And she went to your school. She was She was in the same classes as you.
Yep.
Are you Amish?
I can't explain it either. I don't know.
Did she wear a bustle?
A corset? No.
No, but you wouldn't know. He wouldn't know what she had on underneath.
That's a good point. I never got that far. Yeah.
Was she like a weird person? I mean, that's like a pretty weird fashion to wear.
Even back then, yes. She was a bit strange.
Was it a kind of a desperation date from you?
It was weird. We were friends when I asked her, and then over the next month, things got really strange between us, and we still went anyway. It was a mistake, man.
Yeah, but that was the thing with prom for me, is that this girl who actually ended up being successful and really good looking, whatever at the time, I think I didn't know her that well, and she all the girls had convinced themselves that prom was like the biggest deal in the world, and so she asked me in like December.
Wow.
Of my senior year, and I was like, all right, sure, like, okay, like I hadn't thought about it. And then by the time prom rolled around, I had a girlfriend, so I had the girlfriend meet me at the hotel, because I was like, I'm not gonna be with this girl. And then that girl saw the girlfriend and flipped out and blah 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 blah. Because I think that she was under the illusion that we were gonna have sex that evening, but I didn't know that was where her head was at.
Mm-hmm.
So no one had anything.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend at the time got mad and took off, and because she was younger, she took off.
Yes.
Younger, appropriately younger, not much younger. And
11.
No. So she took off.
What was that?
And then
You took your niece.
To the prom?
Yeah.
No. No, we were not related.
All right.
I could assure you that. And my friend, I don't know if this ever happened to you guys, but so I split the limo with like 4 other guys, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And a friend of mine showed up with this girl that I had never met before that went to another school that was like so hot. I still see the pictures from prom, and I'm like, oh my God, was this girl hot?
Oh.
And she was like kind of a hick. She was from one of these like towny city kind of places, and she was
Clawson.
Yeah, like Clawson, exactly. Clarkston. What? She was from Westland. By the airport.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the Boston comp, because that was the weird thing about Detroit. You didn't have to go very far outside like the major city limits to be in Hooterville. I mean, it was Hicktown.
Well, I mean, there was a bunch of places where they used to have plants, like where people could go, and you could, at the time, you know, when they built the auto plants, you could go and you could work and buy a house and like save for retirement. It was with a blue collar job, you could make all this money. So there were these enclaves like Westland that had been thriving for, you know, I guess look at it in history, for not so long, but for like 30 years they were thriving. And then they kind of, when they started shutting down the plants in the United States, like these people were kind of all out of luck. And there was this town called Westland that wasn't so far away. It would be like 495 from here. It wasn't like so far away, but we had a travel team that did pretty well, and we were able to pick up kids from like more kids. We could expand our roster because we were going to some other tournament. And we got a kid from Westland, and I think I was probably 15 or 16, and this kid showed up with a mullet and a mustache.
Yeah. You know what it is? You just when you said 495, that hit for me. Milford. That's the comp. The town of Milford.
Okay.
Yeah, like you know how like people are different, like on the North Shore, that like Revere, like they get kind of different, like you know, like even they're different. Like just people are different. Like in Everett, people are different. Like you know, it's just different.
Much different than Hingham, equidistant from the city, but very, very different.
Yeah. Like it was almost, and even places that were on the water, like downriver.
Yeah.
Like downriver, like St. Clair Shores and stuff. Like those people were
different,
total heshers. Like there was enclaves where there was like no black people or like any minorities that existed, and they were like super into like Bob Seger and like Ted Nugent and stuff.
Hell yeah.
And then there was areas closer to the city that were very mixed in terms of racially and all that stuff.
So fire up Fire Lake there, DOB. Come on, man.
Go tell Aunt Sally.
That's right.
What was
Joe's run off to Fire Lake.
That's right.
What was the thing called?
Aunt Sarah.
What did they have that it was a day where everyone took off that was on the Lake St. Clair?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh man, now I'm gonna have to find it. Jason, wake up.
You've talked about this.
Yeah,
before.
I have.
You have. I remember.
I can't believe Wallach's hoop skirt prom date though. Holy crap,
Tracy.
A wooden.
He doesn't know if it was wooden.
No, I do
didn't get
know.
close enough.
I do know.
What, did it
wooden.
make noise?
No, it was explained to me that it was wooden.
I do envision like just a lecherous Wallach though, just really trying to peck at that thing, trying to get. Come on, let me see your bird's nest. Come on.
I'm telling you, there was
Put the divider up in the limo. Let's
there
go.
was no.
Oh, baby, I would love to make just give me some gum and
Come
some
on.
plastic, and I'll make and I'd like to live down there.
It's springtime. Daddy's molten. Come on.
Let me go spelunking in that hoop skirt of yours.
Spelunking. With a miner's lamp.
He has a miner's lamp, remember?
Oh.
Oh, yeah, the Jobby Nooner. The Jobby Nooner. You don't remember the Jobby Nooner?
Nope.
Oh, they used to talk about it on Riff. Yeah, the Jobby Nooner. Yeah.
So everyone took the day off?
It's a large event started in 1980 that is held twice a year on Gull Island, located in Lake St. Clair, Michigan.
Oh.
And it's the first event is the Friday before the 4th of July weekend, and the second is the first Saturday of September, because you know they did one over the 4th of July, and they were like, hell yeah. Suze. Remember Suze? Yeah, Suze. All right. Loosen up, Suze. Yeah, the Jobby Nooner. Hey, everybody, Jobby Nooner. All right, baby. All right, there you go. Well, we will help you relive these magical 15 years that we've had, which does not coincide with Hardy and I's time, basically, with the station, because Hardy was here well before me, and I was here well before this station. So I'm working on my 18th year. Next year, we're going to be in the 19th year, and then wait until the 20th anniversary.
We're going to throw a big party for you.
Yeah, I think
we're going to put it up on the monitor, give you a cake.
I'm going to come out and sing a song at the end that no one knows is coming.
I think my hire date was coming in a few more months. Will be 20 years.
Yeah.
BCN.
You should do something at the Wilbur. I'm not kidding. Makes a good chunk of change.
All right.
You should
get everybody together. Get all the old crew back together.
You get Road
Where am I
Steamer,
gonna find Adam 12 and Robbie Road Steamer? And
oh, they still live in the area.
Are you sure?
Yeah. They're still around. I mean, they've gone on to bigger and better things. But I'm telling you, that's a good payday.
Get Juanita up there with her axe to shred. I haven't seen Juanita in a long time.
Yeah.
But she's still here
Yeah.
somewhere.
I'm thinking I'm friends with her on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in some band, right?
I don't think she's ever not been in a band. But,
Yeah.
Various level, varying degrees of activity with the bands that she's been
Yeah,
in.
Juanita was cool. Juanita
is
is
cool.
very cool. All right. Yeah, sorry. I meant to say in the present tense. I didn't mean to say in the past tense.
Yeah.
She is cool. Hey,
Hey.
Jobby Nooner. All right.
She's like leather Tuscadero.
Hey, leather Tuscadero used to smell. You can Google it. It's true. Jobby Nooner. Hey, Mingles. You go to the Jobby
What did
Nooner.
leather Tuscadero smell like? Just B.O.?
Yeah, she was. It was a problem. Like they tried to make her a star. They tried to make her a crossover, like singing star, like in the spirit, like a female Sean Cassidy, and she had a drug problem. It was like all smelly.
Oh.
Like she was. I think rotting flesh maybe was what she smelled like.
Susie Quattro.
Yeah, maybe sepsis is what she smelled like. A lot of track marks or something of that nature. But she did stink. That is true. You can look it up. I don't know if you're going to be able to find it while we're on the air. You might need a break to find leather Tuscadero's smelling.
You don't think it's going to be on our Wikipedia page?
No, I don't think so.
Smelling controversy.
Is it on there?
No.
Yeah. But you can just go leather Tuscadero smelly. I mean, look at her. I mean, she looked like she smells. And why her out of everyone?
I don't know, but she was always the more attractive one between her and Pinky Tuscadero.
Maybe it was
leather.
Pinky. Maybe Pinky was no. It was leather that smelled. It's difficult to find, but I will find it for you. Don't worry about it. All right. So what's coming up?
Oh, the big walk-off victory for your Red Sox last night. Not to play a spoiler, but we'll get into that. And the latest from the Olympics and the medal controversy. All of that.
All right. Very good. We will have that for just a moment. In just a moment. hired like security guards to go out with her, which I guess makes sense. And if it's a peace of mind thing, that's makes sense. But I got to think, if she's hiring security, I mean, is she making any money? Like, I mean, isn't that an expenditure that
Would
sounds
wipe
very
out
that would
whatever
wipe
little
out?
thing.
Yeah, that's how you lose money. That's your entourage is how all these dudes lose all their money.
I can't believe that she's so popular that she needs to fend off groupies.
But the thing is that it wasn't just that she said the Haktua thing. It's that she's a good interview. Like, she's in good spirits and stuff. But we were talking about it yesterday, and of course all the equipment's broken here, so I wouldn't even ask for it. But the Bill Maher had her on his weird podcast thing, and he was being all serious with her, and he's like, the only reason you know about Haktua is porn, and your generation is watching too much porn, and, you know, no one even does that. Like, no one does that. No one would know about it if it wasn't for porn. And first of all, what has he done? The research? He knows that no one's ever done that before porn, that it was invented specifically for a porno. It's 1978. Harry Reams was the man. Like what porn was the first one? And second of all, you're having the Haktua girl on, and you're lecturing her about her generation and its addiction to porn.
Like a grandfather. You could not sound any older
And
than what you're doing.
And at a certain point, there's like a sliding scale, because he sits there and like insists on smoking weed and like drinking during it, which could be fun, but he somehow makes it seem like really lame and so forced. Like, he calls it grass and stuff. He's like, hey, you want some grass? Say, all right, what are you, a professor in 1965? Let's expand our minds with some reefer.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, my day we weren't doing that. We were smoking the reefer. We weren't Haktuaing on stuff.
There's no point of the Haktua. I don't know.
We just roll a big doobie.
There's no point. There's no point to it. There's no point. I mean, we just get out some Mary Jane. You want to smoke? He had Steve-O. Steve-O asked him not to drink or like smoke weed while he was in, and so he wouldn't have Steve-O on.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Well, we were saying yesterday he's old. He's
he's in his 70s.
Yeah, and it's like a different type of chemical dependence, I think, as you get older. It's like, oh no, I need my stuff. You know, there's a certain age where you just want it. You may not feel right, but you know, if he's got himself to that level, if he doesn't get it, he might just expire.
I just don't think it's sunk into him that weed's been essentially decriminalized for like 30 years, 40 years.
Oh, you mean it's not cool to smoke weed openly anymore, and it's not like some kind of rebellious act?
No, if you've been to any urban area, you'll know that it's just part of the fabric of the smell of weed is just what.
Yes.
Is what society smells like in urban areas.
If you walk your dog, you will, smell it as people drive by in their cars at all times of morning, day, doesn't matter.
Yeah, like at the gym, my gym has where I'm going all the time.
Obviously.
I mean, let's be honest, you don't get this by accident, but it's an underground parking garage. And even the gym parking garage smells like weed constantly.
I was gonna say, the gym I go to, it's an underground fight club. But, there are some weights there, too. So
yeah, I beat people up there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go there just to fight. You can work out, too.
But there is something, like, really sad. Eric Heidecker did something with Fred Armisen where they did a Club Random parody, and apparently Bill Maher was no fan of it. It's like an hour. It's something that loops, but he did like an hour and a half with Fred Armisen pretending to be Club Random. And they just looped it, so it said it was 24 hours. And so it's this YouTube video that's like 12 or 24 hours, but it's a looped hour and a half, obviously. But it's just Eric Heidecker asking ridiculous questions and asking him if he wants to smoke doobies. And it's pretty funny, but I guess Bill Maher was no fan of that.
Oh.
Yeah, Bill Maher is he's of a generation that is still thinks that weed is like... this is what the beatniks smoke. This is don't let Johnny Law catch you with this. Like, it's a mild high. It's a real non-addictive mild high. It's pretty crazy.
Nothing else is going to give you that real deep cool.
Yeah, Jack. If he did Club Random and they were like doing DMT, then you'd be like, all right, well, that's it.
Yeah.
You couldn't put it on YouTube, but I mean, you get what you get. All right, very good. What's going on? What did we miss? You tell me.
Johnny Wallach already informed us in his award-winning headlines there at the top of the hour that the Red Sox triumphed last night, although they
opened for us 2 Canadian threesomes.
It was a back-and-forth affair as the Sox got on the board first in the 4th inning, back and forth, just a run here, a run there. It was all tied up in the 7th. They lost the lead in the 10th, and then things started happening for the Red Sox. Bottom 10, Fenway Park.
Valdez launches. Center field. Struck well.
Valdez, can I get a cup of coffee? In the stands, it's a cool night. Juan Valdez.
For a ground rule double?
Yeah, off the wall.
Off the wall, as we've said before, PYT, pretty young thing.
The wall for a ground rule double to tie the ball game.
Tie up your tie and take the girl with the hoop skirt to prom. You ain't getting laid tonight. It's a ground rule double.
We are tied at 4 in the 10th inning.
Oof. All right, very exciting stuff. So, what's going to happen when Rob Refsnyder gets to the plate? Yeah, what's going to happen, Rob?
Don't rough up Schneider. He needs to fix the sink.
Refsnyder, I got you.
Yeah.
Refsnyder on a line. Left center field, and that's down.
Marion Eddie Van Halen.
That's the ball game. Good night from Fenway.
And that's when they signed off.
Sayonara.
That's it. And
then
fade to black.
Straight to Charlie Moore Outdoor.
And now here's the guy with the faux hawk catching some striper.
Him and Derek Sanderson.
Oh, was that an ESPN game last night? I was not watching.
No.
No, but EIEIO.
Oh.
But the Red Sox are one of I believe 5 teams not to lose 5 games in a row this season. There you go. There's your stat. Put that in
Nicely
your pipe
done.
and smoke it. Thank
Well
you.
done.
You didn't know that, John.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, you could put that in your the Royals. I think LA. I could do the research. I really could.
Okay.
But I could tell you the teams are all good.
Okay.
The Royals are the worst out of all of them.
Two games behind Kansas
Milwaukee's
City.
another one.
2 games behind Kansas City for a playoff spot.
Yep,
After
they
the
are
win.
very much in this as the Cardinals limp to the finish line. Your Red Sox are standing tall.
We'll get back to the Red Sox in a moment, but a team that lost many, many, many games in a row this year, the Chicago White Sox, did something that hadn't been done since 1934. They beat a team last night 12-2, and they just set a couple of season marks in the process. Most runs in a season for the White Sox, biggest margin of win for the season for the White Sox, but not since 1934 had the worst team in baseball beat the best team in baseball this late in the year by double-digit runs.
Huh? The Cubs aren't the worst team in baseball.
White Sox.
White Sox.
White
Oh, you
Sox are
said
the worst.
you said
excuse me.
Chicago.
White Sox, yes. White Sox beat the Yankees 12-2 last night.
Ooh, the pinstripe.
So that was
Pin swipe left.
I mean, there's many, many asterisks next to that record, but it's been a long time since a team that bad beat a team that good this late in the year by that much.
Well, it's exciting.
Well,
That I can tell you. I
hey,
mean, you stick around long enough, baseball will throw something at you.
let me tell you something. You haven't been here as long as I have, but let me tell you something. This will serve you well. Yankees suck. Okay? So the sooner you learn that, the sooner you're going to do well in this town.
I knew this fan base was pretty crazy when they were down 10-1 on Sunday doing the wave.
Yeah.
And my son was the only person not standing up for the wave, other than me.
Proud of them.
Yeah.
But it's okay. The fans at Fenway, going back to what Wallach saw when he was there a few weeks ago, back to what I've been seeing on the TV set, they're there. Rob Refsnyder said, "Yeah, the fans they were into it last night on a Monday night."
Yeah, it's getting mid-August. It's kind of go time, so we got to get hot here. But we had a really, really good crowd tonight, and that helped us a lot, I think.
Yeah, good. So good for you, fans. If you were there last night, you contributed to the win.
A little bit. It's better than sitting here saying that nobody cares and nobody's going to the games, which we have had that conversation many times over the last
Been to the
years.
ballpark earlier this season. It would three-quarters
year.
empty.
This year.
Three-quarters empty in May at first
The
pitch.
tickets are still very reasonable. As long as people don't get too excited and start buying tickets.
I would F up an Arby's right now. They just showed an Arby's commercial. I hate that. There's no Arby's anywhere around here. Those curly fries alone.
I could get
Just
you off
give me the
Arby's
curly
in
fries.
10 seconds.
How?
Simply go to
Well, I'm off
Loudon.
Arby's. I can't get it anymore.
Simply go to Loudon, Tennessee. Go to the drive-thru and see the woman that hands you the food.
Oh, because she's got the scabies?
She had wounds all over her arms.
I think the word you're looking for is lesions.
It was the only time in my whole life that the person handing me the food grossed me out so much I wouldn't eat the food, and so now I won't have Arby's. Like it's a miracle. Like it would be someone handing you a cigarette that had like herpes sores in their mouth, and they put it up to their mouth and handed it to you. Like if Crash. Yeah, she had. I can't believe that she wasn't wearing long sleeves.
I don't think that would do it for me. I think I would just go to a different Arby's. If I have multiple Arby's options.
I don't know. It grossed me out so much. I just threw the food away. Like I just threw it away. You have to understand how gross it was.
What'd you get?
I only get Arby's, like the regular whatever, like with the Arby's, just the meat in the bread.
You don't get the cheese?
No.
Oh, you got
I don't do that. If you know me at all, you know before you
never
start
had
the
a
show.
cheese and never had a cheeseburger. Right?
Yeah, never had mac and cheese.
Yeah, but beef and cheddar, curly fries, Mountain Dew.
I'm told the closest one is either Nashua, New Hampshire, or Auburn, Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's
what's
his face used to go out there, Chachi. Chachi used to come back once a year with like these sacks of Arby's.
And sometimes he would send an intern or maybe just, one of his hangers on. Somebody was there for.
I know a cop in Nashua.
Either send him to Arby's or send him to Umberto's in the North End for the pizza. Now, I would not goof on him for either one of those things, but certainly not for the Umberto's, because if they brought back an extra slice, I was right down in his office.
Yeah, Rucker. What's up? Chachi, you have a huge office and nothing to do. All right.
We're gonna talk more about the Red Sox later, but just very briefly, Fred, it was a tough day for the organization, according to Sam Kennedy.
Yeah, it's a really difficult day, disappointing, unacceptable event yesterday, but proud of the way the organization immediately addressed it, and proud of Jiren for acknowledging his horrific mistake and being accountable, but tough day.
Yes, that was for the gay slur that Jiren Duran said, and if only someone could get to their social media account and have the bravery to speak against Jiren Duran, then society would be whole.
But no one's doing that.
No, again, that's of no use to anyone. Right. It's just wasted time and clouds people and makes people frustrated. If you could explain, I don't understand why you wouldn't teach someone. Like that would be like if you're raising your kids and your kids do something wrong and you just scream at them, and you just scream at them and give them no reason. Like if you really cared about people using gay slurs, then you should at least have the patience to explain to someone one time the real reason why it's so bad. And it's not obvious to a lot of people. Jiren Duran, you don't know what Jiren Duran's upbringing is. Maybe he doesn't know any gay people and the struggles that they go through. He probably doesn't consume a lot of media that's like, the movies about the struggles of gay people and stuff like that, or documentaries about it. So wouldn't the best thing to be like to reach out to the guy and go, look, I don't like what you said. It pisses me off. But this is why it pisses me off. This, that, and the third. And then you teach the guy, and then the guy goes, oh, yeah. Instead of just going like, just end him. Because all that's going to do is get his hair up. That just pisses people off. That's why I thought about it. This is why there is so much, the country is so divided, is everyone just screams and waves their fingers at other people. No one listens to anything. And that's not how you teach people anything. If you want to correct behavior, especially to an adult, you have to tell the adult why. You can't just say, you can't say that, dumbass. You can't say that. You should be fired. Because then what they're going to say is, oh, you want to fire me? You want to take away my money? Like, F you. And then they're going to hate you more. And stop trying to speak for other people too. And it's a sick narcissism that some people have that jump on any cause as if it was their own. You're not doing anyone any good. You're just creating noise and polarization. It's not brave. It's not brave at all to get on social media and just start yelling and screaming. It's not brave. And it's, in fact, counter to what you want to happen. But I don't think what you want to happen is for people to stop saying that language, because then you wouldn't get that rush anymore of being able to feel superior to everyone. That narcissism that you enjoy so much, that victim narcissism that these people are being victimized. I'm going to pile on. I'm going to do it. Look, I'm like them. Shut up. You just create this wall of noise, and then how is someone going to react to that? How does a kid react to it when you just yell at them all the time? They're not learning anything. They're just going to get pissed off and not like you, right? Isn't that what happens? If you just yelled at your kid every day, you just yelled at your kid and never explained why anything was going on or why what they were doing was wrong, and humanized it and said, dude, look at how tough it is for gay people, and by using these words, you're promoting hate, and this is how literally dangerous it can be. There was a kid dragged behind a car, like this, that, and the third. It's not hard to find instances and just go like, hey, like what you're doing is you're normalizing something that makes my life as a gay person extremely difficult, or my brother's life as a gay person extremely difficult. Then unless he's a sociopath, he goes, wow, that puts a face on the problem, and I realize the severity of it, and now I don't want to use that word again. But when you just have white noises screaming and yelling and wanting the guy these incredibly unrealistic punishments that are completely unfair, as if you've never made a mistake in your entire life or said something you shouldn't have said, because you have, and you just because on your scale of what's right or wrong, the world does not live through your brain. So these unrealistic things and just screaming and yelling, it's just white noise. And you would hate the person that was saying that to you too. If someone was yelling at you, fire him because you made a mistake, you would hate the person yelling at you. It would do you no good. So everyone needs to take a break and think you're just creating problems. And then with the presidents and all your comments with, I know who you're voting for. All right, well, this is the dialogue in the country. Because you're just as dumb. You don't know everything either, by the way. So smart. All right.
Who, me?
Yeah, you dumbass.
Oh.
All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox beat the Texas Rangers last night 5-4 in 10 innings at Fenway Park to snap a 4-game losing streak. They're 2 games out of a playoff spot. They'll host the Rangers again tonight. The team has also suspended Jiren Duran for 2 games without pay in response to the anti-gay slur he directed at a fan on Sunday. Patriots went through a short practice yesterday in Foxborough. Hunter Henry and Jonathan Jones among the missing. They'll practice with the Philadelphia Eagles at 10:30 this morning in Foxborough. 2 teams have an exhibition game scheduled.
Hey, we're Toucher and Artie, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. What's going on last night?
All right, well, this Jordan Chiles thing, I guess it's finally resolved, and the resolution is nothing's going to change. And that's pretty much what they've been saying all along. It turns out because she was the last gymnast to perform, there was a clock. Normally, there isn't a clock to appeal the score. You just have until the next gymnast is up in the rotation. And that's
we all
kind
know
of
that.
fluid.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry. I don't mean to go over well-established territory.
Welcome to Boston. I mean, this is a sports town.
But, they're looking at clocks and so we did file the appeal on time. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Well, the resolution is they're not going to change anything. And the good news is, out of all this, that Flava Flav, who has, been like a cheerleader and, a big supporter of these Olympics and specifically the gymnastics team, has made a bedazzled bronze medal for Jordan Chiles in the fashion of one of his clocks that he has worn around his neck for decades now.
So you know what time it is.
So you know what time it is, but it's also bronze, Fred, because the bronze medal is on the line here. And as we discussed last week, the bronze medal makes you feel better than the silver medal. That is well established through years of research and measuring smiles on athletes' faces in the moments of competition and on the podium. You weren't here for this last week.
No, I was not.
Well, but we got into this. So there were studies done where they gauge the smile and whether it's a real smile, the eyes get involved in a real smile.
Experts?
Experts. Reading human emotions.
Got it.
Right? Or as Paul Newman said in The Color of Money, human moves. You watch the clock, I watch the person. Human moves, kid. I'm a student of human moves. So they look at these people and they judge their reactions and they say the bronze medalist is happier the majority of the time than the silver medalist because you go to this place in your head, what if? The silver medalist thinks, what if I just been a tenth of a second faster or a tenth of a point better? I could have been gold. Where the bronze medalist says, thank God I was a tenth of a second faster or a tenth of a point better because I would have ended up with nothing.
That makes sense.
Okay?
That makes sense.
So the bronze, it's a thing. And you're either a medalist or you're not. And she didn't medal. And now she's very upset and she's not on social media. The gymnast's mother is making comments for her. Said, thank you. It means the world. She's not on socials right now, as you can imagine. I'll share it with her. That was to Flava Flav and his bedazzled bronze clock.
So you said that they're not going to do anything, so she still gets the medal?
It's no, she doesn't get the medal.
Doesn't get the medal.
She does not get the medal.
She was stripped of the medal, and now all the appeals have been fruitless, so now she is without medal.
The arbitration panel won't reconsider the decision on the medal. Done.
I've thought more about the Australian breakdancer that everyone's making fun of.
Ray Gunn.
Hardy was incredulous after the show yesterday because I said when I first saw it, I didn't know it was bad, and he didn't believe me. And then I had to say, I'm not being deliberately aloof. I did not know it was bad because I have not seen anyone breakdance since I was 6 years old.
Yeah, not everyone spins on their head, Fred. It's all different.
What do I know what they're doing with breakdancing now? I mean, like if I played you interpretive dance on PBS or like an African rain dance, you wouldn't be able to tell me if it was good or bad.
Not everyone is turbo ozone from breaking.
Well, turbo and ozone. I'm 49. That breaking probably came out when I was 8.
Yeah,
like 1983. When I went to Tally Hall to breakdance, and there's still a video of it, which is excruciating. I don't know if I could handle watching it. Because me and Matt Dumas breakdance, but we could not breakdance.
Okay.
On a stage. I was probably 9. So, like, I have not seen breakdancing in 40 years.
I bet you were better than you think.
No, I was unable to spin. It was a lot of footwork.
A lot of top rocking.
A lot of top rocking. A lot of body rocking. A lot of the wave.
Yeah.
A lot of, I might have done the worm, but I don't think I did it right.
But, Fred, just because you don't know doesn't mean that she's not good, and she's not good. And as I put it yesterday, the breakdancing today is what like BMX freestyle is today compared to what it was when we were kids.
Well,
so
then
what
it's
what
just
they're
gymnastics.
doing,
So it's gymnastics because what that tells me is I didn't see any of it except for the lady from Australia. So what you're saying is that they're all just flipping around.
they're doing some cool stuff, and yes, it is, but it was kind of gymnastic like back in the day. It's acrobatic.
But it was a street dance phenomenon where like they battle danced and stuff. There was like a rhyme and reason to everything. Now,
But they would do that instead of fight. And
I mean a lot. And then you'd pull a gun out and they'd be like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Watch this.
And then they would just
You don't need that gun.
They'd play Nucleus, jam on it, and you would get very excited. But
Isn't that kind of what the premise of the Michael Jackson Beat It video is? Aren't they going to dance instead of fight?
That's right.
Well, they're going to hit each other with pool cues and beat it. He goes to the pool hall where all the toughs hang out.
Yeah. They're
always playing pool.
But, okay, so what are your thoughts on ray gun? You have developing opinions on ray gun?
What's ray gun?
The dancer that you started this break with, the Australian dancer.
Oh, her name is Ray Gun? Yeah, I don't know how you can judge dance. How that's a sport, to judge dance. It's an interpretation. There's no rules to dance. It's the same thing with skateboarding. I don't know how they judge skateboarding. No one cools in the Olympics. The whole point of skateboarding is the outlaw.
In your
aspect
opinion,
of
who's
it.
a better dancer, Elaine Bennis or Fred Astaire?
Well, Elaine Bennis. Well, I like Elaine Bennis. I like her dance. Elaine Bennis is dancing more than Fred Astaire's. It appeals to me more. It's funny. It's all how you interpret things. There's no rules to art.
Well, I don't think
you guys are so square.
Yeah, you're very Frank Zappa of you. Writing about music is like dancing about architecture, right? You just can't. You can't have any opinion on something that is art.
I'm just like Frank Zappa, swordsman.
Dancing like architecture.
Okay. Sean likes that quote.
I do. I think that's an Angelina Jolie quote from
So
a movie.
how can you have are some bands better than others?
Yeah, but I can't be the one who hands them a medal.
Why not? You do it every day for 4 hours.
Because that would be the Fred Olympics. Which, if you want the Fred Olympics, that's fine. But I don't think you can award someone like the best painter. It can be like, you know what I'm saying? Like I judge you the best. You could have a battle of the bands and BCN's battle of the bands, but the world's best dancer, that's all. That's art, baby. You can't tell me what's going on. You do you, lady from Australia. Plus, makes a mockery of the whole thing, which I think is fun.
The panel of 9 judges. This wasn't just the Fred Olympics. They had 9 Freds up there.
Okay, how did they pick the
I'm going to tell you. They scored each battle because these are breakdance battles.
Yeah.
And every round based on 5 criteria: technique, vocabulary, execution, musicality, and originality.
All right, well, then 2 of those don't make any sense. Musicality and what was the second one?
Vocabulary.
Vocabulary. That's just dumb and insisting on garbage. And then artistic or originality, then I would say the lady from Australia gets a 10 for originality. Because no one apparently breakdances like that. You know what I'm saying?
No. I don't. I do know what you're saying. I do know what you're saying, but I don't agree with you.
Fine. That's hey, baby. We don't got to agree on everything.
The judges.
That's how PTI works.
They used a digital slider to score the battles, and there were penalties and disqualifications, and for that they used the misbehavior button. All judges had 3 misbehavior.
You can
buttons.
tell it's from the street when there's a misbehavior button. Right. I wish there was one in the skateboarding competition.
The mild misbehavior button was an accidental, unintentional, or non-aggressive act or a gesture. The moderate misbehavior was for a nonviolent but intentional act or gesture meant to intimidate or otherwise degrade a specific person, and then severe misbehavior, which was a stabbing.
All right, we got to go. Did you ever see the Saturday Night Live sketch where the old hip hop where they had like feathers, like feather earrings and leather vests, like that Apache kind of style,
like from the movie The Warriors.
Yeah, exactly. Like, wouldn't it be that would be the greatest if the judges came in and they were like old black guys, like with feather earrings and like,
that looked like Isaac Hayes,
or they like dressed like Mr. T. Yeah. We're breaking tonight, Jack. All right. We will be back. Our anniversary, the 15th anniversary. I hope everyone in the other room has got it together now. The anniversary is here.
I think we have it. I think we're ready to go.
All right. Very good. We'll get going on our 15th anniversary. It's a big celebration.
4-3 in the top of the 10th inning, but scored twice in the bottom of the 10th to snap a 4-game losing streak. 5-4 over Texas at Fenway Park. Rob Refsnyder had 2 hits, including the game-winning RBI single.
We were joking before the game. It wasn't a must-win, but it was a can't-lose for us. Fortunate enough to just come through. It was a good team win. A lot of guys really stepped up. We're pretty banged up right now, so a lot of the bench guys had to play a lot more. So a lot of credit to the coaching staff.
Sox are now 2 games behind Kansas City for the final playoff spot after an 8-3 Royals loss in Minnesota last night. They host Texas again this evening. Also, the Sox suspended Jiren Duran for 2 games without pay in response to the anti-gay slur he directed at a fan on Sunday. And Trevor Story took both infield and batting practice yesterday as he attempts to return before the end of the season. In Foxborough, the Patriots were without both tight end Hunter Henry and defensive back Jonathan Jones at practice yesterday. They'll play a home exhibition game against Philadelphia this Thursday night. The 2 teams will hold a joint practice this morning behind Gillette Stadium. The fun begins at 10:30 and it is open to the public. ESPN reported yesterday multiple teams have called the Patriots about a possible trade for Matthew Judon. In other NFL news, the Eagles traded pass rusher Hassan Reddick to the Jets over the summer, and he's held out for a new contract ever since. Yesterday, he asked his new team for a trade, and the Jets quickly told him they have no intention of dealing him. And after finding out last week they'd be playing on Christmas Day, the Celtics will now reportedly play the very first game of the NBA season this fall. They'll play the Knicks and raise their championship banner on October 22nd. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by East Coast Metal Roofing, the official roofing partner of the Boston Celtics. Mention 98.5 The Sports Hub and get 10% off your new roof. Visit eastcoastmetalroofing.com. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 7:30.
Celebrating 15 years as Boston's home for sports. Thank you, Boston. 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, everybody. We are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. 617-779-0985. You can watch us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube. And then it's free porn, really. Just looking at us. It is the 15th anniversary of 98.5 The Sports Hub today. So today, 15 years ago, if you turned on the station, there was all the Patriots Super Bowls played back to back to back.
There was a football game.
Yeah, it was, and then it was Felger and Maz were on the first show on the radio station, and then DA, Damon and Mendelara, because they did not want me on the air. The first show, as I was the morning show, but they wanted a little space in between me.
So DA was the first show after Felger and Maz?
Yeah.
Not Holden Kushner?
Well, he did weekends.
He did a lot.
Who's Holden Kushner?
They had him on. He was a national guy at the time.
Akram Kushnet?
I don't know who that is.
Yes.
Because remember the overnight show when we first started?
Oh, yeah, the locking himself in a closet. Sports through religion.
Yeah,
yes.
it was finding faith through sports. It was from 2 to 6 in the morning. He was on the Sporting News Radio.
Yep.
David Stein was his name. David Stein, and he would say, he would then fall into these stories because it was like following faith in sports, and it was just everything was tied back to faith. Oh, do you remember? So, you know what? We got to, Mike, for tomorrow, we got to get, please, you guys, listen to me. Tomorrow, we have to get David Stein audio, and we have to find it and play it. You have it? He has it.
Oh, good.
So David Stein, he was like this weird, like ex-addict and stuff, and he would just fall into these stories about like he'd be in a closet in his underwear with like guns and stuff. And then one time he was like, we have Jed on the phone, and Jed was this Vietnam vet. And he started going on, but then he started going, when we were out there in the patties and the G words, he just started saying it over and over and over again. But then the David Stein was in this bit of a quandary because he didn't want to hang up on the vet because he was honoring the veteran, and it was a whole situation.
Now, we've been doing Random Act of Kindness Monday for over a year. Last week, we suggested, since it was Girl Scout cookie season, to give the $4 to the Girl Scout and tell her to give the cookies to somebody who looks hungry.
Which is the best thing you can do.
Very safe for an 11-year-old to do that.
I like the Herbert.
Right. Just, you know what? Here's the $4, but I want you to go
to the worst area.
I want you to go to Mass and Cass, and I want you to find somebody who looks hungry. Okay?
Listen, heroin.
It's called Methadone Mile. You go down there, and they love the sweets.
I know.
Anything sweet.
You saw Taxi Driver when Jodie Foster pours all the sugar in the coffee.
Take that little lockbox of cash with you. Don't leave it sitting here on the table.
Well, don't take the lockbox. I mean, you're not going to be able to get out in time. Just hold the money over your head. I also like the David Stein. The mushroom. Hey there, mushroom. What's the good news? I wish for my ashes.
So that was on 15. Happy anniversary, Fred.
Yeah, that was.
Happy anniversary!
Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary!
Was that the Flintstones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Jerky Boys.
Yeah, but it's from the Flintstones.
From the Flintstones.
Yeah, that's from the Flintstones. That's when they keep running in and keep doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Funny robots.
But so the station was a real disaster when it first started. It was not good.
Okay, hold on a second. Super Bowls, Felger and Maz, DA,
Yes.
the Stein fella.
Yeah.
You guys, Tangway.
Our first show was terrible.
Tangway and Zolak.
Yeah.
Felger and Maz again.
Yeah.
DA.
Yeah.
Whatever overnight. Saturday morning, 8 a.m., day 3 of the Sports Hub, Hardy and Troop.
Really?
Saturday morning, 8 a.m., day 3.
Now, did you have to get another job when the Sports Hub? Because you went from doing afternoons.
Full-time afternoons on BCN to part-time weekends, and then within a couple of weeks, I started doing headlines on the midday show. But I was doing any work I could find outside of the station.
So it had to be very scary for you.
Oh, it sucked. Absolutely sucked. Had a kid, another one on the way. It was not good.
And
not good.
Did they give you any reassurances that they were going to have work for you, or was it you kind of like hanging by a thread?
Hanging by a thread. I did get paid by BCN for an extended time. It was Hannon who, because my contract didn't force them to do anything other than give me like 2 weeks severance or something. But he extended that out by like a month or two, I think. So the first couple of months we were fine, but then after that, I was working a lot. I was working within the first couple of months. I was working 7 days a week. I'd work every single day. I was doing headlines, and then I was doing weekend shows. And I wanted to be made full-time, but that didn't happen for a year and a half, 18 months. I was a part-time, like, at-will employee, like, never knew.
Yeah.
The first year and a half was very, very sketchy.
Yeah, CBS was a good company.
It was
CBS was a good company. Like when Rich was out, when Mary had cancer.
It wasn't good for me in that first year and a half.
Well, they gave you money. They didn't have to give you. And when Rich was out because of Mary's cancer, they paid him. They paid him he missed like 2.5 months of work, and they paid him the whole time. Not this company.
Well,
cut you off. You got a throat problem.
You're still here.
Save money. They weren't going to fire me. I was getting 25 shares. They weren't going to fire me because of my throat. But first of all, that would have been dumb.
I would have fired you.
You would have fired someone, so you would fire.
I would have fired you.
You would have fired Jerry Rice if he had broken his leg.
I can't think of another person I would have fired, but you I would have fired.
No, you wouldn't have. You fire me, this place is going down in flames, baby. You take that. You take this foundation away.
You take that to the bank, Jack.
You see.
But that first,
I'll take a blowtorch to this place.
Put it this way: that first year and a half, the job that I had here was just enough to pay for like the daycare for a few hours a day I would need for my daughter, and with the hopes that it was going to turn into like a full-time job that would then again start actually bringing extra money into the house. But it was, that's all my job really paid for the first, 18, 19 months.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, that was tough times. But now, what is the station released? We have to break. But what is the station released?
Okay, so you mentioned the YouTube earlier. Today on YouTube, throughout the day, we already saw the trailer for the 15-year anniversary. There will be more videos released throughout today and the coming days celebrating the 15-year anniversary of the Sports Hub. So this one, I believe, is up on the YouTube right now. And this is all about what many feel to be the true awakening of the Sports Hub, something that happened with one of our teams that really helped bring us into our own, and the fact that we were so closely aligned with this team and what they did. It was a big moment in the Sports Hub, and it's celebrating and recapping that moment in time.
Now, did Radzik call you to talk about this? Did you have that kind of relationship with Rick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you jealous?
What are you saying?
No, I'm not.
What are you saying?
I think it's the smartest thing he's ever done is not calling me.
What if he had called you? What would he have sounded like?
Oh boy! Oh no! It's the 15th anniversary, and I am far away. Would you like to guess where I am?
Where are you?
I'm all the way down in Falmouth. Good luck finding me.
What are you, off the grid?
Gone fishing.
Off the grid?
Yeah, I'm off I'm off the grid. I am a full hour and 10 minutes away.
With traffic.
It's
traffic.
Kind of a big deal up here. It's a 15th anniversary, Rick.
Yeah, 15th anniversary.
So are we doing this now, or are we doing this in a minute?
What? As long as my phone doesn't ring, I'm cool.
I guess that's a break. I guess that's what that means.
Hardy, guess what? All right. I don't want to tell Fred because he scares me. Hardy, here we go. Here's what you need to know. All the info you need to know. I don't see it. I don't see the video. But what do I know? I don't.
Play the audio, but
so just go to YouTube and sniff around a little bit.
Play the audio and the video, but they're both going to be hard to find.
Yeah, I can't find it, but listen, do what you got to do. It's
hard
up there on YouTube.
In this building, hard to find online.
Oh, well, listen.
It's hard to find.
In
period.
15 years, they haven't figured out how to work anything. Apparently, one station was down, so the engineer had to go fix that, like on location, and then now the whole network's down again for the 100th time in a row. So we can't put anything into Vox Pro.
I see no problems here.
And it's not the engineer's fault. It's just a bad company. Just everything breaks, and there's nothing anyone can do about it.
Listen,
but unfortunately, the morning show is rather important for the day of the station.
So you're saying we can play this after we come back?
It took me 8 seconds to find it. It's up there. If you follow
How'd you find it? Seriously, it took you 8 seconds?
8 seconds. If you follow 98.5 The Sports Hub, go to the page, and then right below the logo goes home, and then videos. And under videos, it's 2011 Bruins, the rise of the Sports Hub.
Because it doesn't come up on mine. Toucher and Hardy Live is what comes up.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
Come here.
Uh-oh. That's Hardy walking around behind Fred.
He has the responsibility. He has the responsibility because Rick talked to him, so now Hardy feels like this.
He's in charge.
I know how to work a mouse.
He's in charge.
He's in charge
by
now.
proxy.
Absolutely,
it makes sense.
Rick has put all the pressure on him. Well, it's got 22 views, so good job to everyone.
It's been up for only a few minutes.
Maybe if it was easier to find.
So that's what we're going to hear on the way when we come back. Am I to understand that to be the case?
We'll do it a little later. We're going to play a little Belichick. He was on the big Pat McAfee show.
We're putting this whole anniversary thing to the side. Moving on.
Dumbass, there's 2.5 hours left. Stupid.
Yeah.
You're the worst thing about this anniversary.
On the anniversary?
Being saddled with your nerdy ass.
Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary! Happy anniversary!
You call Wallach a stupid dumbass on the 15-year anniversary of the radio station.
He's wearing my company hat, too, my God.
Mike Reese should have been in that chair.
Okay.
They found every dork within 20 miles to try to audition.
Lucky me. I happen to be around.
Yeah, lucky you.
Happy I never wanted to marry you. Happy anniversary. That's what that was.
It's an arranged marriage.
I should have married Mike
That's
Reese.
true. It was an arranged marriage. But I'd like to hear from Bill Belichick. That's a great idea. Why don't we do that?
Why? Since when is Wallach running point? Why do you feel the need to move things along?
I just think everyone needs a vacation.
He just got back.
Well, I mean, he was all the way again
In
with
Falmouth.
9 people in Falmouth.
Gone fishing.
That's very
No
unique.
one could find me.
It's very unique to Massachusetts. Where are you going on vacation?
The Cape.
I'm going to
Damn
put
right
a tent
I
in the
am.
backyard.
Going to the Cape.
I'm going to put a tent in the backyard. It's going to be very
I'm
exciting.
going to move up to the attic, Greg Brady style, for a week.
This is so different. I'm really able to unplug. All right, we'll be back. There's people who commute from there. I dated a girl that lived in the Cape and was up all the time. She played tennis in Norwood. Like every day.
That's great.
It's quite a vacation spot. All right, we'll be right back.
You're listening to and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
All right. Is that true?
And it's 100% true.
All right, well, tell the story in a second. All right, be listening at 7:30 and 9:30 this morning for your chance to score a pair of tickets for Thursday's New England Patriot preseason game versus the Eagles. And May should play a lot, so actually, I won't make fun of that. That's actually good. At the end of this break, I'll do it. Your chance at Patriot tickets. All right, so everyone knows Hardy. We'll get to this Belichick thing in 1 second, but everyone knows Hardy loves to, tinker around the house. He is a Midwestern dad. I mean, I really have got pinpointed his personality. And
you got me all figured out.
I do. And so he was showing me this Ring camera video of the guys at 128 Plumbing coming to his house, and they were playing with his dog. And I went, "Oh, you let that thing just do whatever it wants." And he goes, "Oh, she likes to help. She's like her dad." And now what was the story you were just telling me?
So our central air upstairs went out Saturday morning. Like, not good, right?
No.
So call 128 Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric, right? Give them a call, and they're like, "No problem." Well, when do you need us out there? I'm like, "I know it's hot, it's busy, but we can probably make it through." The weather was kind of breaking Saturday.
Sure.
We'll open up the windows. Sunday morning, they'd send somebody out there. I'm like, "That's great.
Whoa.
Thank you." Right? So Sunday morning, the guy's there, and I'm ready. I got, stuff cleared away from the unit upstairs, and I'm telling him, walking, it's like, good news for you, it's walk-up attic, so you don't have to, climb any ladders or anything, get up there. And I'm, showing him the unit, and, I'm like, I checked the condenser, but I don't know anything. And then he's like, "Okay," and he's looking at everything, and he goes, "All right, well, let's look outside." So I'm pointing something else out to him on our way outside, and he says to me, "You don't need to trail me. I got this."
How bad did that hurt your feelings?
This was
because it probably did hurt your feelings, right?
But okay, so the guy James, like, really nice, really good, and he was there,
Sure.
troubleshooting this thing for a couple hours.
No. No one's.
He wasn't mean about it.
Everyone's on his side. We're all on his side, Hardy.
Don't you worry. Sides have already been chosen.
Yeah, you're not making him sound bad.
He wasn't mean, and he still hurt my feelings because I have wrenches. I have things.
Did you, slink away?
Yeah, I went inside the house, and then I kept, spying on him out the window, and he caught me looking at him once.
Is that true?
Yes.
Why were you looking at him?
Because I wanted to see what he was doing.
Why did you never get into HVAC work or something like that?
Oh, God. Once you start talking about replacing compressors and, now you just need a full new condenser. That's beyond my skill level.
You should hear Anthony from Opie and Anthony when he would talk about it. It sounds like a delightful job.
The compressor switch out. Yeah, you could, but parts alone on that thing, you probably just need the new condenser, Fred, and that's what we're doing.
Would you be happier if you had a job where you could, at the end of the day, you knew that you would fix something or you would build something, like it was tangible, like there was tangible evidence,
this is going to sound stupid, but this is why I like this job, and I've liked it for years, because even though it's fleeting and it just goes through the air, the fact that you can make some audio production, you can actually make something and say, there, this didn't exist before I put it together. Now it exists, and now you can play it, and you actually make something.
All right.
So there's something to that, yes.
All right, very good.
But thank you to 128. They're taking care of it. It was fine sleeping with the windows open for a couple of nights, right until that skunk made his presence known about 3 a.m. That's what woke me up today.
Demon weed. Bill Maher was hanging out in the backyard.
Hell yeah.
All right. So Bill Belichick will be doing appearances on the Pat McAfee show, which is good for Pat McAfee because that's how he made all his money, was having Aaron Rodgers on his show.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows that that is the case. Pat McAfee was a huge, huge, huge mistake by ESPN. They devoted way, way, way too much money to him. But good. He took it away from everyone else. All right, so here is Bill Belichick on the Pat McAfee show.
You're coaching in New England. How would you put together a plan of how your starters may or may not play?
Whoa. Who's that voice?
Now, is that AJ Hawk?
That's AJ
What?
Hawk.
No way.
Yes, for the first time ever, I've heard the man speak.
He finally feels comfortable because one of his own is in there. Another guy banging a 24-year-old.
Is AJ Hawk doing that?
No, I don't know. AJ Hawk he comes out. You have to rub Stonehenge 6 times, and he comes walking out of it. Just every time I see Bill Belichick now, I'm like, he's with the 24-year-old girl.
Yeah,
It's kind of hard to
think about anything else.
I only think of that
Okay.
scene on the Porsche. That's all I think of.
There was this Instagram thing of like who she is, and it's like they bonded over like a shared love of philosophy. She was a cheerleader at Bridgewater State, that think tank.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about Bridgewater State.
It's not Brown. Like, I mean, it wasn't.
I understand it's not Harvard, but
yeah, it's just funny. Like, her keen. It's like she's intellectual beyond her years. At her Bridgewater State, she went to Suffolk Community College.
I would say the same thing if she went to Michigan State, so that's fair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If she went to Michigan State, if she went to Rollins, I'd say the same thing. But it's just funny. Like, she's just so intellectual. Bridgewater State.
Mm-hmm.
Like, find me the acceptance rate of Bridgewater University.
Well, wait, AJ Hawk will wait. You
No, go play AJ Hawk.
You're coaching in New England. How would you put together a plan of how your starters may or may not play throughout the preseason? And did that change throughout your time in the NFL, how you kind of employed your starters?
Yeah, that's a great question, AJ, and that's one that I...
Is it?
Yeah.
How did you
come
play your
up with
starters?
Yeah, how'd you come up with that?
Preseason. That is a great question.
Since it's preseason football, you coached the team last year. How would you play your starters? That's a great question, AJ. Someone took a Dale Carnegie course.
Oh, it's for dummies.
Yeah.
Dumb dummies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question, AJ, and that's one that I think it's a pretty long conversation, but a very, very important one. If you're going to put your starting quarterback out there, you probably want to put him out there.
Stop the presses. You got to listen to this guy because he's dating a girl that went to a college with an 88% acceptance rate.
Early decisions, 95.
That's not 88.
She had a
It's not
she had a
88.
philosophy.
It is
book.
88. I'm looking at it. It is 88.
She had a philosophy book. It was all the places you'll go. She had a philosophy book to color. It's such BS. Like, it's just like, yeah, this young woman, showed interest in me, and I got all like excited about it. It's her their shared love of philosophy. Oh, shut up.
88%.
Yep.
With her textbook from 1962. To be or not to be.
If you're going
To
put
get
your
in and not get in. You're in. Bridgewater State.
Why is the sky blue?
Yeah, that's a great question, AJ.
All right, and starters in the preseason.
If you're going to put your starting quarterback out there, you probably want to put him out there with your starting offensive line. You want to put him out there with, receivers that he's going to be throwing to. So if your depth is not good at those positions at that particular point in time, maybe you got a couple of guys banged up or whatever, then is it really worth it? And on top of that, you have to spend time preparing for your opponent, right? You don't know what they're going to do. So I don't think you want to play, your starters for 5 plays. That doesn't really do any good. You want to maybe leave them out there for, 20, 25 plays, something like that. Well, that involves preparation time, and that's maybe 2 or 3 days of practice.
Okay, so we'll stop it right there. This is what people are taking, I think, as a shot at Gerard Mayo. Why would you put Jacoby Brissett or Drake May out there for only 5 or 6 plays? That doesn't do you any good.
Okay, but he failed with Mac Jones. So
maybe his way isn't necessarily
everything this guy says now. In the back of my mind, there's that that jerk guy just saying, "You never did anything without Tom Brady. What do you know?" It's not unfair. Not doesn't tell the whole story, but it's always back there. And yes, Mac Jones. What'd you do with Mac Jones? That didn't work.
I don't think that you're even really by saying that critiquing Bill Belichick as much as you are critiquing the people that are like, see, he's taking shots at the Patriots, because I would say, well, he's in no position to do that.
Yes.
That'd be like him going like, oh, they really screwed up the draft. And you'd be like, they took this receiver like way too high. And then you'd be like, well, you can't draft. You never could. It was like a blind spot for you. You could never draft receivers. All right, quickly.
And I'd say with the shortened, training camp time frame now, that's a little harder to do than what it was in the past. I remember when I was, with the Giants and you had 3.5 weeks of training camp, you could take 3 days to prepare for your first preseason game. And you can go ahead and put your best players out there and let them compete against the other team, for a couple days and really get a lot of reps and get a lot of quality work. Then, do you really want to come back and play those guys 2 days later, basically on no rest and put them in a big contact situation? Can you get more out of the joint practices? So
he goes on for a few more seconds, and it's just more of the same. It's more of the same. McAfee finally, after AJ Hawk tees him up, McAfee comes in to, the back cleanup.
Not that they don't, they really don't want to do that as much. Like, I want to get a lot of work in practice. The 10 plays in a preseason game doesn't really do anything for me. I don't care about that.
That was one of the best situations or situational answers I've ever heard in my entire life.
Oh, my God. He is an idiot. A real moron. Congratulations, ESPN. You couldn't.
Bill, you blew my mind.
You're spending someone else's money, and you didn't even put 2 and 2 together and go, the only reason anyone's talking about this guy is because he had Aaron Rodgers on. And he had a relationship with Aaron Rodgers and then paid him $1 million. Best investment of all time. He's a douche. He doesn't represent anyone that you want. He's not cool. Pat McAfee is the antithesis of cool. Drop Pat McAfee off in the Lower East Side with his chain and
Fred,
Indiana Hick.
Fred, you've got a bowl of cereal. You got a box of cereal. You got a bowl, and you got a milk. What's your process for putting those things in there? What do you do? How do you eat that? How do you eat that food? Literally, answer me.
I put the cereal in the bowl and the milk on the cereal.
That was one of the best situations or situational answers I've ever heard in my entire life.
And I like how he gave it the gravitas of like the loud exhale, like, oh, namaste.
Oh, now,
jeez.
Oof, give me a cigarette. Boy. Or give me a cigar.
I was holding my breath the entire time you were answering.
That was one of the best situational answers I've ever gotten. Well, your instincts are right on point, dumbass. That was really exciting. It was too boring for us to play. And he was the ex-coach of the team here. He stinks. He really stinks. He really sucks. But it's not even his fault.
I do give credit to AJ for the question, though.
That's a great question, AJ.
Yeah.
The thing is that Pat McAfee's just dumbass, like whatever. It's one thing to be funny in a locker room after a game because the bar is so low. But it's kind of cute that he was a punter and he's like a big guy. But it's really on ESPN for being so dumb. To go like, wow, this guy he's resonating with this online audience that we were having trouble getting, and we're looking for streams in the internet and da-da-da-da-da. What are kids into? Well, he's essentially the Poochie the dog. Like, he's just this dumb old man's idea of like what kids are into. Pat McAfee. So,
that was one of the best situations or situational answers I've ever heard in my entire life.
I don't have one friend who watches him or doesn't think he's a douchebag, let alone anyone who likes him. Like, it's not, people don't not like him because of what he has to say either. It's just because he sucks. It's one thing to go like, I don't like that guy. He's saying all these things I disagree with, or I find him off-putting. This is just like a douche. Like, he just whiffed. You just whiffed on the whole thing, you stupid idiots. Ugh. Dan Roach says, happy anniversary, fellas. Seems like yesterday I was doing an audition tape with Hardy.
That's right. I auditioned with Dan Roach.
Mike Reese auditioned for Wallach's chair.
I think they offered Roach several things. He's like, nah, I'm doing the TV thing. I don't want to do radio every day.
Roach has turned down many jobs over the course of his life. Listen, this is going to be a good game. because you're going to get to see Drake May. You just heard Bill Belichick talk about it. Caller number 10 right now to the Sports Hub contest line, 617-931-0985. We'll score a pair of tickets for Thursday's Pats game against Philadelphia, which should be good.
Mm-hmm.
And Philadelphia is a real dumpster fire with Jalen Hurts not liking the coach and everything else going on there. It could be interesting. But you'll get to see Drake May. The word with all the writers is Drake May will play and play a little bit. So we'll see. Coming up, more on the anniversary, including the big video that has now garnered just over 100 views on YouTube. The power of 98.5 The Sports Hub. We will have that for you in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox.
and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
Oh, that's right. It's the 15th anniversary of 98.5 The Sports Hub. 15 years ago today, you were listening to 3 Super Bowls. The Patriots had won 3 Super Bowls. You were listening to them. And then you got Felger and Maz, and then D.A., and then the weird David Stein guy that will have audio of tomorrow. Very strange man. He was the overnight guy. You had Trupiano and Hardy, the big...
Hardy and Troop.
Hardy and Troop.
Yeah,
Trupiano, a legend. You had guys whose names you're saying that I don't even know who they were.
Holden Kushner.
I don't know who Holden Kushner was. Now, he was in Boston.
I don't think he was.
He was a DC guy, and
Yeah,
he
they
moved
brought
up
him
here.
in.
He
Yeah.
moved up here for a while, but then he went back to DC.
In all seriousness, Walk, how do you know that guy and I don't?
I just remember him. I remember seeing him.
I must have just not listened to the radio station. I used to call in Hardy's weekend show all the time as Chachi.
Yeah.
Yes, that was great.
But when
Troop was confused every single time.
Yeah, maybe we could find one of those for tomorrow. But like when Hardy would be doing it with Trupiano, I'd just call and go, hi. And they'd go like Larry, because that's Chachi's real name. And I'd be like, hi. I'd be like, I loved. And then I would always bring it back around to how he had chickens.
Yeah.
And then I would say it and just sit there. And then Trupiano would you could tell he just panned out because he was on Twitter.
But we have it now, but we're not.
Hardy wasn't
You have
really.
one of my calls?
Yeah.
All right, here's one of my calls.
Oh, God. It's all part of the anniversary that we're doing here.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
Fourth and final hour. Larry on the South Shore, though, is going to stick with the Pats to get us going here. Larry, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, I've always been a big fan. Troop, you are something else. I'll tell you, I've been around this town for a long time, and you're a class act.
Thank you.
You know, Brady yesterday, he's been showing a lot of heart, a lot of gumption, a lot of chutzpah. And it reminds me, it's not something that I'm not familiar with. You know, I went to a school in Cambridge, and it all came down to passing a swimming test. And Lord knows I was scared of the water. I mean, it gave me the creeps. And now I passed that. I went to high school. Now I got the biggest office in the whole damn place. You know? I've done that for myself. I got the biggest office. I sit there. I sit there. I don't, Lord knows what I do.
You're killing Hardy here.
Oh, my God.
I'll hang up and listen, guys. Thank you. Excellent show. You know what they say, free lock with Daryl, all right?
Okay, Larry, I just want, if you're still with us, I just wanted to ask you quickly. Oh, he's gone. Oh, it's too bad.
You all right?
Oh, my God. I almost stroked out. I laughed so hard there for a second.
The thing is, you could have called back an hour later, and Troop still would have been confused by the whole
Oh, no,
thing.
he wasn't paying any attention. What was, you could hear my kids in the back of the car when they were real little, and I remember where I was when I made that phone call. We were in front of a friend's house. We just left, like, some kids' party on a Saturday, and I came out, and because my kids would always go, call Hardy Show, because it would make their mom laugh. So I'd sit, and I'd call the show. Because Chachi had a big office for no reason.
I got the biggest office.
I got the big. Listen, I barely graduated high school, but I have the biggest office in the whole damn place.
And nobody knows what I do back
No
there.
one knows what I do. I have police officers I'm friends with in.
They bring me oranges.
They ripped them off a guy selling them. That's illegal. There was a guy on one of the 128 exits. I see how I'm local. 120 because I'm doing Chachi. 128 exits, and he caught him selling oranges, and he said, "Hey, Chachi," he goes, "I heard you like juice. Press these sons of bitches. They're on the house. I got them off some kid." There was this. This is not about the anniversary, but we were going to West Roxbury yesterday.
Ooh, nice.
Where are you going, CM?
We were right next to CM.
Tony's place, like right across the street there?
The field's next to CM?
Well, we weren't there. I was going to a physical therapy thing for my son, but yeah, right next to Catholic Memorial. And there was a family, a man, a woman, like a teenager, and they had a baby, and they were asking for money. And my son gets really sympathetic when people are asking for money. But then he looked over and he said, that kid's got Yeezy slides on and he's on a phone. And then that opened up like a whole like conversation about what's going on. And I'm like, if you're going to be out asking for money, maybe tell the teenager to go be on the phone somewhere else.
Yes, with his $200 slides.
Unless they've gone way down in value since the anti-Semitism's run loose.
Yeah.
But it was something. It was something.
That's a good Dunkin' over there. Where they're right there at Spring Street and Baker, I think.
I went to the Stop and Shop while he was getting physical therapy. If you must know.
They used to have crullers there. You can't get the crullers at every Dunkin', but they used to have them at that one.
Yeah, 5 cents for a bag. Newton's is 10 cents. You can tell you're getting into a more downtrodden area by the price of a bag.
Okay, do you want to do this Bruins video now? Or
Nah. We'll do it at 8. We'll save everything else. Because you only get one anniversary. You only get one trip around this globe.
You can say that again.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
That was immediately made fun of by everyone. One thing that the station was well on board with right away was you could make fun of 98.5 The Sports Hub.
That was unanimous by the Tuesday after we started.
But not in the initial meeting when the imaging was played for all of us.
I didn't make fun of it?
No.
No. I'm saying it was not the joking about it was not well received.
Oh,
in
okay,
that first
because
meeting.
I'm like I had to have said something about it.
We all did. We all laughed because we thought it was a joke. We're like, we're not going to play that.
By the way, you can watch the station's gonna be putting up videos on our YouTube channel, and they actually did a very good job. In all seriousness, they're
really good.
They're really good videos, and it is kind of cool being in them because it looks like a real documentary. So there is like something to be said about that. Like I get off on sort of that thing, but there's the one about the 2011 Bruins featuring footage of yours truly filming himself like a jackass.
Well,
on
that's
the
why
parade boat.
that's why that one dropped today during our show because it features you, Fred.
Yeah, as opposed to most of them that don't.
I think ones that have more to do with either Zolak or Bertrand, those will drop tomorrow, like during their show. And the ones that feature Felger and Maz, or more Felger specifically, or Fuppets or something like that, those will drop during Felger and Maz.
Who cares
about any show other than this one?
If you're talking, you can't tell the story of 98.5 The Sports Hub without an F and a T. Like you can't spell Sports Hub without an F and a T.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
It all works out.
I do.
All right, so when we come back, we will play that some of the highlights from that Bruins video, which now has 132 views. So it shows the power of this show. All right, we will have now 135 views, and I'm one of them. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
Toucher and Hardy, 98.5 The... for making us your home for sports for the past 15 years. WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5 The Sports with Toucher and Hardy on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy. Do you remember the original jingle, ladies and gentlemen? Do we have...
98.5 The Sports Hub.
It is the 15th anniversary of the show. Always brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. You can find 15th anniversary videos popping up on YouTube. They have the 2011 Bruins, where our station, I believe, first became number one. Was in 2011. We launched in 2009.
The competition largely ignored that team
they
for
openly
long
made fun
of
of
time.
it.
Yeah, the afternoon show was like hockey talk, and they lasted 10 seconds. And then when the Bruins started to get going and people realized that, you know what, people cared about this team and we were all over it, then the other station was like, oh, boy, let's throw our station logo over everything having to do with Bruins.
Which is never good. It comes off as very disingenuous. And the station has made good videos. They talk to everyone involved that's still around, including and even some people that aren't, like Dave Gosher's in this Bruins video. Obviously, he was the voice of the Bruins on the radio back then. And it's very well done, and there'll be videos being released here and there today and tomorrow and so on and so forth. But like I said, they sat down with everyone. And Hardy, what do you have there?
Well, I know the guys in the video department, and I was walking by one day, and they were going through the video footage, and we all sat down for varying lengths of time. And they asked us a whole bunch of questions, and then they go and edit them into the different videos later. And when I walked by, they happened to be working on the footage from the interview with John Wallach.
Yeah, they had a post that they had put in there, and a guy with the leather band on his forearm carried him into the room, and then they sat him on the post. They had to get a couple of Boston Globes, though, to line the floor.
So Fred, as much as I wish that were true, the thing that struck me first is that, see how Wallach is perched right now, kind of leaning forward. I'm into this. I'm engaged. Mm-hmm. The first thing I noticed in the video, and you'll see them as they are released, this is kicked back Wallach. Wallach is back in his chair.
Yeah, this is. Let me tell you how it was.
He's got a Benson and Hedges 100 in one hand.
He's got a picture of a lady with a hoop skirt in his back pocket.
He's just got a vibe about him that you don't normally. I don't see this side of Wallach very often at all, and he's just. I mean, he is so cool with this thing, man. He's just like. Yeah, man, I'll talk about whatever you want to talk about.
98.5, the Sports Hub.
So I said, hey, any chance I can just get the audio from that, guys? And they're like, sure, what do you need it for? I said, never mind. And I just want to listen to it myself. So
don't worry, Jack.
So going through the Wallach audio was very instructive. I learned things about him and the show that I didn't know before.
I haven't heard any of this.
Yeah. Would you like to hear some of this, Fred?
Absolutely.
All right.
It's like Shazawis.
Yeah.
I got a call from Gary Tangway about 2.5 weeks before the station launched.
Yeah, guess what? Newsflash. They're starting something that's going to fire me quick. I've seen a premonition, Wallach. I'm the spokesperson for this thing. I'm going to come on, swear a lot, and get fired. Kabang. Then I'm going to get this sweet gig at Emerson, where I just go and call all of you to teach my class for me. Kabang. I will not validate the parking.
That was Gary. And then the second he left, the midday show just took off.
Yes.
It was great.
Follow me. I'll teach you the way to do sports talk radio.
He did have a sit down with you in the first couple of weeks. Let me teach you how to do this.
Not so much a sit down as that he told me, like, while they were coming on the air, that he would teach me how to do sports talk radio.
Right.
He was number one. You got to watch every Red Sox game, and that's not a joke. He said that. You got to watch them all. You got to be able to tip the tail. You got to be able to tell everyone what happened. What was in whoever the hell the man Francona's mind at the time.
Yes.
All right. Here we go. Here's Johnny, the Jazz Man Wallach.
I got a call from Gary Tangway about 2.5 weeks before the station launched. And he's like, you know what? They have this morning show that needs a sports guy to go with them. And my role at WEEI was stagnant, to say the least.
Work the levels, buddy.
So I contacted our then program director, Mike Thomas, and I said, are you interested? And he said, yes. And I went and I met with him, and stuff didn't take long. All of a sudden, I had a job.
Oh!
Didn't take long.
Yeah.
Yeah, this cat came up to me and said, hey, I heard you can blow, kid. And I was like, yeah, what do you got? He's like, but I heard you got a problem with needles. And I said, don't worry about that, Jack. I'll be at the gig on time. You know, I was a pimp. You know, I had this stable. Rosie was my bottom. I used to let her sleep in bed, but that would make the other hoes jealous. So I said, I gotta get straight, Jack. I got cases. I'm on probation. I need a job. So I met with Mr. Mike Thomas. I said, what you want, Whitey? He said, I got this job. And I said, I don't trust the man, Jack. I'm Jazz Wallach. Trumpeter, trump.
Who's blowing up my telephone, cheap suit?
Man, don't get out of me with that square poetry, L7.
So,
yeah.
Wallach talks about his early days on the show. Again, these are things I did not know.
Originally, I was supposed to be in a different room from the morning show. And when I met Fred the day before we started, he's like, forget that. Just sit in the room with us and we'll just start talking.
Yeah. But
it's going to be free, man. He said, don't worry about the Thompson and shit, man. You play what you feel, Jack. He said, come in here, boy. You come here, sit down. Close your eyes and just dig.
Where's the sheet music? We need some sheet music.
Throw that sheet music out. Play what you feel.
I was told I have to sit in this
Nah,
other
man,
studio.
shut up. There ain't no charts. Give me my needle and a hoe.
Oh, you ruined it, Wallach. It turns out it's just Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis sounds like this. It's much more aggravated. It doesn't have the rasp.
That's on me. Sorry.
Yeah, shut up, Wallach. Stop trying to get the heat off you. Now I'm going to even be meaner.
Okay.
All right. What else did Wally have to say?
I forget, but it was something else I watched in that video.
Yeah. What else you see?
This is probably later on.
I was at the Blue Note 92.
Were you early on able to separate being kind of poked fun at and kind of used in a certain way where you just knew I can't take this personal because, you know, how do you separate?
This is Rick asking for himself. Can you give me any advice for when they're mean? How did you make it not about yourself?
Being kind of poked fun at.
Poke fun at. When they poke fun at you, how do you not make yourself cry?
And kind of used in a certain way.
Why am I being used? I'm like an old condom on the side of the road, flung out a window.
You're not like that.
Yeah, it's like a prom night condom.
Just knew I can't take this personal because, you know, how do you separate?
So mean. John, it was so mean. How did you separate it?
Taking it personal and getting over that and then saying it's all part of what we do.
It's one thing if you get made fun of by guys that you know don't like you. It's another thing if you get made fun of guys that you're friendly with.
So it's the first one. So how do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I still
dare
haven't.
you? How dare you?
I'm burying the pain away.
How dare you?
That's all I'm doing.
I'm burying that pain, man. You know, I'm going to have to meet my maker one day. I don't know if it's going to be a hot shot or it's going to be a man putting a heat on me. But I know it's going to come quick.
5:15:75.
Stop. They do not sound all that similar.
Okay.
There's only so many things a human voice can do, Jonathan. If you sat down and you did this to Daryl Hammond, you could ruin his gig, too.
Can you dig that?
No, this one is not.
No, he's not face.
Like,
It's not face.
No. This is. Well, Billy Crystal's was just.
Yeah.
No.
That wasn't true.
That sounds like. Sounds like Chachi.
Yeah, I was a jazz guy.
Can you dig that?
Yeah, I know. I could spend 2 hours on Billy Crystal doing his New Orleans jazz guy.
And this goes back to what I was talking about before with chemistry. You know, I knew the guys I was working with were friends of mine. We'd go out, we'd drink beer, we'd just hang out after the show. Fred has said this on the air before. I'm just breaking balls like I would with any of my friends. I have no problem with that. I really don't.
Yeah, that was it's a good point by John. Actually, it's always very hard for me to understand when people thought, you're making fun of people. It's like, what did you do with your friends? My kids have this conversation with me. They'll hear me talking to my friends, like from high school. They'll be like, oh my goodness, and I'll be like, that's just what we did.
Yeah,
it's what everyone
say
does.
terrible things to each other.
I wish I had a dime for every time Marcy has said to me, "Be nice to your friends." I'm like, but that's not how we do each other.
I've gotten that same question. What are you saying?
Yeah, that's
known
definitely
these guys for 30 years.
I mean, listen, it's the 15th anniversary, and I was already in my 30s, and John was in his 50s when the station came on the air. So there is a generational gap. I'm not saying one's better than the other. It's probably better not to be this mean, but the whole ball busting and making fun of people thing is just. I mean, I grew up that way. Terrible things that we would say to each other. I had a guy say something bad to me yesterday. He was introducing me to another guy, and the other guy was divorced too, and he's like, hey, this is Freddie. He gets hotter girls than you would think because of his looks. Essentially something like that.
Yeah.
He was like, for him. Oh, he gets hot girls for him. This is what he said. Like, for looking like this disgusting pile of garbage. You'd be surprised. There's some presentable looking ladies in his orbit.
But that's just
and he wasn't trying to be mean.
No, it's I don't know any other way to be. I really don't. It's been like that with you and your friends, me and my friends, and Wallach and his friends.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Wallach has more friends than me.
Friends, yes.
Right.
Wallach has way more friends
Forever.
than I do.
That's just how it is.
But it is interesting because even like the media that we listened to when we were younger. I mean, you should listen to the things that Stern said about Mancow, what he was going to dig up his dad and do things to his dad. I can't even say them. Listen to what he said. I mean, just terrible things. But light ball busting. I was like, oh boy.
Wow. Well,
how do you deal with it, John? What is your favorite kind of facial tissue to dry the tears?
Well, anyway, it's
Being
good.
Kind of poke fun at.
All right. Well, listen, the videos are very good.
They're very good, and it's all part of our 15-year anniversary.
Absolutely. It is the 15th anniversary of the radio station. You'll be able to see it all on YouTube. And I'll take this. David, go ahead, David.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, what's up?
Perfect example to like how ball busting with your friends. Well, I'll just say this: if you're not ball busting with your friends, they're not real friends. Case in point, my wife and I, we just had a baby, right? And we posted pictures. Very cute baby. My buddy calls me up. First thing he says is, "Dude, I got really bad news." I'm like, "What's up?" He goes, your wife's been cheating on you because that baby's way too cute to be your kid.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that shows what's going on. I thought he was going to say something way worse than that.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be way worse than that.
Wouldn't have taken that call.
Yeah, that wind-up was false.
I thought that it was going to be very offensive, but it was not. It was just like a your ugly joke.
No.
I thought it was going to be something terrible about the kid.
Right. Now, that'd be funny.
Now, that would be funny.
Yeah.
Like, this and the third. All right, well, we'll be back. Andrew Callahan is going to join us, and Jazz Wallach will continue to be here as he just tells you about how it all got together, Kat. How we all did it. We'll be back in just a moment.
Hunter and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
We are Toucher and Hardy. Andrew Callahan is the Patriots reporter and a columnist and covers the Celtics. He does jack of all trades for the Boston Herald. He's on his way to camp today. He joins us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Hello, Andrew Callahan.
Good morning, guys, and happy anniversary.
Oh, it's an exciting day.
Thank you.
You got to go check out the videos up there on YouTube. It will be a trip down memory lane for you. Where were you 15 years ago, Andrew Callahan?
That is a great question. I think all of you are going to hate this answer, but 15 years ago, I was starting my freshman year at UConn.
Oh, I hate that answer.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, do I hate it? Well, you're younger than
Sorry,
me.
guys.
You jerk. How dare you?
All right, I lost my hair way too soon, if it makes that feel any better.
Yeah, that does, I guess. You got that. You're like Larry David. You've been cursed. I understand. All right. So the big talk is about, we heard Belichick on Pat McAfee and this, and everyone's speculating is the reps that the quarterbacks are getting and how they're being distributed. What's your read on it as we get towards the end here of camp, or as we get towards the beginning of the season?
So, number one, I would just say today, folks are coming to the joy practice. This is the biggest day of preseason and training camp combined. Like, this will be the most reps all of the starters see against an actual starting defense, offense opponent, whatever it might be. So today is bigger than the preseason reps, which isn't to diminish them. What I would say is, I think the reason that you've seen only just one series of Drake May so far is they only have about 4 viable starting offensive linemen. And to me, I would have sent him back out there for another series or 2. If the cost is just that he's out, David Andrews might want to have to hang out a little bit longer, which Chooks 4 so be it. I think they will a little bit more on Thursday. But to me, I don't think Gerard and Alex Van Pelt have fully made up their minds until they see what this Philly defense looks like today. Because if they can't protect today, and May will be protected, he can't be touched, why would you risk him more on Thursday in their minds, even if you need to throw him out there for at least a couple of series?
Okay. What have you been seeing from May? Do you think he's getting enough? Does he need more work? What is your read on him?
So the total reps between him and Jacoby Brissett are basically even. And so it's not really like a total workload standpoint. The argument, the quibble I have is the number of reps he's taken with the starting offensive line. And it's only been 6. And we all saw them last Thursday in that preseason game. He's not gotten any reps with the starting offensive line in training camp through 13 practices as far as I've seen. And to me, that's necessary because you have guys like Zuri Henry, all due respect, undrafted rookie, and Kellen Deach, who signed less than 2 weeks ago off the street, as his offensive tackles. And that's just not good enough for the face of your franchise, but that's how bad their depth is due to a bad offseason, I would say, rebuilding that line, and an inability to coach up some of these guys. Not to mention their plan A of a core 4 playing left tackle already seems to be thrown out the window. So to me, that's the issue. It's not the total number of reps. I don't mind Jacoby Brissett going with starters. He's been better. Drake hasn't earned starting reps, but he needs to be protected better, and the only way to do that is with their starting offensive line.
You were talking about the offense. How important is it for the rookie wide receivers today? Is today the most important day in their development going against a good defense like this?
It's huge, definitely. And I would say the Patriots defensive backs have given them a good look. But I look at someone like Jalen Polk, who in my mind, Wallach should be starting, I think, today and maybe through the rest of camp. He's been the most productive receiver. He's been the most consistent. And KJ Osborne and Tyquan Thornton, who started in the preseason opener, have really been starters in every single team period so far. They've had 3 catches apiece in the last 3 practices total. So to me, that's not good enough. And Polk's had more. Pop Douglas has been the man in the slot, 7 catches 2 days ago, 4 yesterday, both led the team. So he's got his spot. But I think this is big for Polk, who's been better than them. If you do that against another opponent, I just think that's an unassailable argument, and it'll really be time to start Jalen Polk moving forward.
Yeah, what did you make of them releasing Smith-Schuster, and what does that mean for the receiver room?
It was honestly about time. I mean, guys, I think their only approach, knowing that his issue, as they reported last year right after the preseason openers, his knee wasn't 100% then. it's not going to be 100% for the foreseeable future. And that means a guy who they signed basically because of his yards after catch ability, and they didn't want to pay Jacoby Myers what he wanted. There's no advantage there now. I mean, he was in the bottom 10 percentile and a lot of separation statistics, yards after catch, all this different stuff. So their only hope was that he had a decent enough preseason that they could maybe pawn him off on some other franchise and be like, all right, we'll do a pick swap. You'll get the better pick and take the salary off our books, and we'll take, a 6th or 7th rounder in return for a 5th or 6th or whatever it might be. He stunk in the preseason. He stunk in the spring. He had a bad camp. And it's really too bad that his body betrayed him as a 27-year-old dude who at one point was one of the better receivers in the NFL. But no one was going to take him. He wasn't going to play here. He was arguably the worst receiver in camp outside of some undrafted rookies. And it was just time to cut bait.
It seems like this is the time, especially now with the joint practices beginning with the Eagles, for the bubble guys to really make their move. I mean, it seems like it's today, tomorrow, it's do or die time leading up to the preseason game on Thursday night. Is that an accurate assessment of the timeline for the guys who are close but not on the team?
Yeah, I'd say so. But if they have, say like a decent performance here today, we saw some of them flash against Carolina, right? Like Christian Ellis is a backup linebacker at a sack. O'Shane Zimenez had mostly a good preseason opener. He's been rising up the depth chart. Marco Wilson, Alex Austin, these young corners who've been pretty good. Doug Hyde had a really good piece today in the Herald about this. Completely unbiased, of course, commentary right there. But my point is, if they're so-so today and then show out again in Thursday, even though they're playing against Eagles backups, to me, that means a lot. Because now that's 2 straight preseason games where they've shown you, hey, when the lights come on, I'm ready to play. And that, to me, you're building up a body of work as a bubble player anyway. But the deeper you get into this, if you're the better player, that's often the tiebreaker. Who played best last? Because that means they're building towards something better. And if someone faltered, well, maybe their best football is behind them this summer.
All right, what's going on with Matthew Judon, and how does this thing end?
Yeah, it's funny, guys, because we talked to the defensive assistants for the first time yesterday, and DeMarcus Covington, 35-year-old defensive coordinator, first year in that job, made a point. Felt like he came into his scrum being like, I'm just going to say he had one bad day. You guys have all had bad days. We can excuse this. To which I would say that's mostly correct. But his was in public, and his was a really bad day. And he's also been kind of hit or miss sometimes with the participation in camp. Now, for the most part, he's been there. And I expect him to practice today. And I'm really excited to see how he looks against a really, really good offensive line. But there's been no indication that I've heard, and they've gone pretty quiet on both sides of this negotiation, that there's been meaningful progress. I would just say, and this is for the kids out there, the vibes check the last couple of days has actually been pretty good.
Yeah.
And, did I tell you I was thinking that like 15 years ago, the vibes check? He's been at practice. He seems happy. We saw that in the preseason opener. You just hope they get a deal done sooner rather than later, because then they can rid themselves of this versus worrying about how is Matt Judon going to be going into week 1.
Why is he still on this team, though? And that's the one thing I can't understand. This team is far, far away from competition or competing for anything. I mean, the fact that Brandon Ayuk doesn't want to come here, and they've swung and missed at all of these impact players, no one seems to wants to come here. Why Judon's not going to be around when this team gets good? Why aren't they trading him?
Well, I think to that point, if you wanted to run with that through the rest of the roster, why would they have extended anyone that they re-signed when theoretically, guys like Hunter Henry aren't going to be around maybe next year, the year after, being a focal point of the offense. But their point is, as we reestablish the culture, not all of these players can be on the same timeline, because first of all, then you'd all have to pay them in 3 or 4 years, and that's going to get too expensive, and you're not going to be able to do that. The second point is, I think they think he's got some good football left for the next year or two. Not to mention, he's just your best player. So, yeah, if you come to an impasse in negotiations and he wants, $22 million per year, yeah, sayonara. Hopefully we get a conditional 3rd, 4th round pick for you. But otherwise, I want to keep my best players. I want to have buy-in from them, because then everyone underneath him looking up to see how he respects Gerard Mayo, which his issue so far have been with the front office. That says to me, I can't act any differently. In the same way that we've seen plenty of other past Patriots align with Belichick, that cultivated buy-in in a way that even on his worst days of ripping them in meetings, running them into the ground in practice, you still did what Belichick said, because the veterans are doing the same thing. What Mayo needs now is that buy-in. You get that through players like Matt Judon. And yeah, he certainly went against the grain and made a scene a couple of Mondays ago, but since then has mostly been in line. And if you can't get him in line, then trade him. But so far, they feel like they can still do that.
You were talking about why Hunter Henry. I mean, Hunter Henry is a guy, and you know this far more than I do, that's considered a leader in that locker room. He's the first guy out to talk to the media during that terrible, terrible end to the season. They always go to Henry, and he would always talk to the media. He was the guy that players look up to. It just seems like Judon sticks out. I mean, he's older than a lot of those other guys that you were talking about. The Patriots have clearly identified the core to move forward, and Judon is not part of it.
Well, but Judon and Henry are really about in the same age range. And I would say probably the same point in their, careers, right? Not to mention Henry's got the worst injury history, even though Judon's the one coming off the bicep. Before that, you'd be more concerned with Henry losing games due to, something happens in practice or a game. So for Judon, not only is he just better than Henry, and I get that Henry's going to play a part in the development of, Drake May and everything with the offense moving forward. But Matt Judon, I think, still is going to be a good player for the next 2 years. It may be 3. He might rotate into a smaller role in that third year, but I would at least like to find out. Like that's the thing here with Matt Judon for me. You want to keep all of your best players. If he's got that buy-in, not to mention if Barmore's out for the year, you have 0 pass rush, and I understand that you're not trying to win games. They want to find foundational pieces. But if they think Matt Judon next year, when I think they might be able to push for a playoff spot, can help them do that, you keep him around.
You think he might be able to push for a playoff spot next year?
I mean, fellas, like we're a long ways away. Yeah. But when you have a lot of money in free agency, you'll have another pick that won't go to a quarterback that needs development. A receiver like Malik Neighbors is lighting up Giants training camp. If you get, and Malik Neighbors is a great prospect, you're not finding them every single year. If you get a player like that, though, to then go with Drake May, Jalen Polk is in year 2, Javon Baker's in year 2, you presumably tighten up your offensive line. With this defense, it's still got a good young core that you just extended. You have virtually no internal free agency you need to re-sign aside from maybe Jonathan Jones. Yeah, I think at that point, that's the goal because that would be the next step from getting out of the basement.
They're going to draft that big tackle at LSU in the top 5 next year. I think that's the direction they should go in.
Well, I'll tell you, it's good news, and who knows? Maybe they could be. There's always a surprise team every year. And the getting a Malik Neighbors, I think, is a good chance. If you told me that there was one position where the Patriots will be picking that's almost a home run, sure shot getting an elite prospect at, it would be receiver in this day and age. Lord knows people have like Leatherwood, and there's offensive linemen that have not been good. I can't off the top of my head think of a receiver that was taken that near the top that's just completely like in the top 5 or top 10 that's just completely like burned out. I can't think of anybody off the top of my head.
Yeah,
if I can't think of it off the top of my head, Andrew, let's just say it didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen. But
yeah, it's an encyclopedia up there. And well, to your point though, Fred, when you look at the kind of longitudinal studies about positions that can make an impact earliest, offensive tackle is down at the lower bottom of the list. And let's just stick with the Giants. They take Andrew Thomas, who looks like this all-time bust as an offensive tackle at Georgia a couple of years ago. And now more recently, he's become one of the best tackles in the entire NFL. And they still have issues up front with the Giants, don't get me wrong. But Malik Neighbors still has to prove himself. But there are plenty of receivers, to your point, that like those guys can come in. Because just like the quarterbacks and some of the corners, honestly, they've been playing 7-on-7 since they were little kids. Mm-hmm. And some high schools now aren't allowing players to practice and pads until high school. So from a developmental standpoint, not only is probably the coaching in college a little bit worse given the systems for the offensive line don't translate to what they want in a pro system, so there's a learning curve there. But like these guys who are running the same routes, covering the same routes, and are able to hone those skills since they were, 4 feet tall, yeah, naturally they're going to be ahead of everyone else who's drafted at other positions when they're picked that high.
All right, there you go.
A lot of things need to go right in, these scenarios. And the one thing that's still they can't really tell yet is, do we have a head coach that can coach? The head coach who has never coached a football team before. All these things kind of fall under that umbrella. So I guess we'll get more chances to see how he handles the joint practices and how things go on Thursday night. But to me, that's the one thing that can't be answered until you get a few games under your belt and see how things are situationally for Mayo and see how the team is behaving and responding to him going forward. I mean, so far it seems okay, but Andrew, it's really hard to tell at this point.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, and I completely agree because even Gerard Mayo said he's going to make mistakes. Look, I would put him down like most rookie coaches. We're going to look back in January and be like, he might have cost them that game, not challenging that 4th down, not having the right clock management, or just not being able to do things in a way that a veteran coach would be aware of and be able to execute under that kind of pressure. because he's only been in coaching now for 5.5 years. And this isn't to say that Gerard Mayo won't figure it out in the long term. It's just to say that that's what rookie coaches do. So there's a lot going on here. But the issue to me won't be, okay, if he screws up and loses a game, that's bad. What's worse is if he doesn't learn from it and if the players are out on him. Because if the players are out on you as any kind of coach in any kind of sport, nothing you do matters. And so that's why I bring up the cultivation of the buy-in, whether it's the Judon or all these extensions or whatever it might be. But just promise me when we do the 17th anniversary show, guys, we're not replaying this clip of me saying today the Patriots might push for a playoff spot in 2025 unless they do it. Because if they don't, I'm just not going to show up. Dan's going to put me on the line and I'm going to hang up.
Well, if they go all in on free agency this offseason, they have learned nothing from their past mistakes.
Yes.
That this is not the time to go all in.
It wasn't like they did this 15 years ago. They did it 2 years ago.
Lightly
and it blew
sprinkle
up in their face.
Lightly sprinkle in free agency. You don't have to throw it all
Overpay
against the
for a
wall.
couple of guys.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah,
go-
yeah. Like a couple select guys. Don't go crazy. Don't get yourself in any trouble.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, Andrew Callahan, it's a pleasure, sir. Thank you as always. Enjoy yourself at camp today.
Appreciate it, guys. Be well.
All right, there you go.
I disagree. Judon shouldn't be here at this point.
I think they should get rid of him, too.
He is an extra guy, and he makes a good point. Without Barmore, you're not going to get any pass rush, but maybe this is where Keon White figures it out. All I'm saying is the Patriots have sent a message that he is not part of their core. They've signed everybody else but him.
Yeah, I know. They don't want him. Drake London is not a bust. You can't say Drake London's a bust yet, can you? Okay. So I went through all the drafts. And by the way, DJ Moore was the 24th pick of the 2018 draft, the first receiver off the board. That's not bad, huh? You take DJ Moore. And Ruggs is the only guy that I can see.
Yeah.
And that was because he killed a guy.
Yeah. Extenuating circumstances.
Yeah. So, I like your chances at a wide receiver. I mean, I'll just give you a random year, 2022. You got Drake London at 8. You got Garrett Wilson at 10. The only guy is Jamison Williams, who was at 12th, which was a reach pick by the Lions because he was hurt coming out of college. But we'll see.
Honestly, I think by the time we get to the draft next year, you're going to be screaming for the Patriots to take a franchise left tackle.
Yep. Well, listen,
over a wide receiver.
I would too. But if there is for immediate pop.
Yes.
You know I love that pop.
I do.
I got that pop life. Everybody needs a thrill, Johnny Wall game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, when we come back, Jiren Duran apologized very sincerely yesterday.
Again. It's twice.
But it sucks. I mean, for everybody. It sucks for the Red Sox. It sucks for Jiren Duran. It sucks for everybody. We'll play his part of his apology and everything else in just a moment.
Sports Hub headline.
gentlemen, we are Toucher and Hardy, brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. When I was at the Red Sox game on Sunday with my son, my 16-year-old son, little did I know that there was a melee, a verbal melee going on between Jiren Duran, who wanted to play all 162 games this season, but he will not be able to now as he's been suspended 2 games by Major League Baseball for using a gay slur, is what it's called, when he was responding to some hecklers, and he had to take his medicine yesterday and stand in front of the press.
I've had some fans reach out to me and tell me that they're disappointed in me, and I just wanted to let them know that I'm sorry for my actions and that I'm going to work on being better for them.
Have you heard from Major League Baseball since yesterday?
About what?
About what happened yesterday. Did you talk to anybody in baseball?
This
There's been no outcome yet in terms of...
What do you mean? I'm suspended 2 games.
Okay, is anything beyond that?
No, I just had the 2-game suspension.
No, yeah, they're going to kill me.
Have I heard from Major League Baseball about what?
Well, no, he's already announced that they suspended me for 2 games.
The team suspended him.
Oh, the team suspended. Have you heard from Major League Baseball? That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about what? About your birthday coming up.
About the All-Star game. Here's the thing: is that Jiren Duran was very stupid. He shouldn't have said that, and not know there's a live mic. It's pretty stupid. But here's the deal with you people, is that the people just in the audience in general, is that you got to stop yelling and screaming about everything. It doesn't do any good. In fact, it makes problems worse. And I will use this example again. If I yelled at my kids and just sat there yelling at them all the time, every time they made a mistake, and just yelled, and said these are going to be catastrophic consequences. You've made a mistake. There's going to be there's no nuance or anything. There's no room for you to learn. There's going to be catastrophic consequences, and no matter what you do, the punishment will be the harshest thing I can possibly think of. And I just yelled and screamed. They're going to start resenting me, not listening to me, and hating me. But the way you get through to someone is you try to teach them that there are real consequences to when people say things like that. For instance, you could say, Jiren Duran, what do you know that what he knows? Jiren Duran might not have any experience or any knowledge of firsthand or otherwise of what gay people have gone through, and the how using words like that can add to their problems that they're facing, that there are physical consequences, that there are mental consequences, that it's not easy to be a gay kid in school. You know, all these things. In the way to get to someone and to teach them, hey, look, here's the situation. When you say something like that, it just adds to the pile that's already on my back. And, you know, this is what I have to go through on a daily basis, and this is what my life has been like. And then, unless he's a psychopath, Jiren Duran would say, wow, I didn't know that. Thank you. You taught me something. Now I know that there's real consequences to using these kinds of languages. But to you, to sit there on social media and just scream and yell and state the obvious, you're doing that for yourself. You're doing that, if you really thought about it, you're doing that to make yourself feel good. That is a rush that you get by doing that. And you doing that is having no positive effect whatsoever. In fact, I could argue it's having a negative effect. I think social media is precisely why the country is as split as it is, because there's no nuanced conversation. It's just because everyone feels so effing good just sitting back and screaming like you know everything and no one else knows anything. And that's not true. You don't know everything and the other person doesn't know everything. You don't know everything and the other person knows nothing. If you're an expert on something, then teach someone else about it. Because you don't come off as an expert just screaming and yelling and saying, the Red Sox and the Yawkey and that. You just sound stupid. You sound dumb, and you don't do anyone any favors. And stop gravy training off of everything. Because I guarantee if I went to one of your social media accounts and saw how many things you bitch about on a yearly basis and how many people that you've gone crazy on, it would be such a variety of things. And it's just you sitting there getting a dopamine rush because you're pathetic.
Yeah, it's one thing to like bring attention to it. If somebody, spotted it online and said, "Hey, what's this?" and the team did nothing, you might feel compelled to raise your voice about it. But the team addressed it right away. There was the 2-game suspension from the team. He makes his apology. But I agree with you, Fred. Piling on social media or other platforms, commenting on stories and stuff like that. If your goal is to somehow reach Jiren Duran in this, it's gonna make him turn the other way. It's gonna make him less likely to feel empathetic toward whatever it is that you at least portray yourself as trying to be supportive.
Well, you're not teaching anything. You're just yelling and screaming and going, "You're terrible," which isn't teaching, which is stupid. And by the way, if you think the media is on your side when they post an article about how terrible Jiren Duran is, that's not their intention. Their intention is grabbing you with the gay slur. That's the intention. If you think the marginalized group is who the news outlet is in favor of, you're mistaken. They're using as caustic language or as gross a picture or as embarrassing a picture about the marginalized person as they can possibly find to get clicks. So they're part of the whole problem too. So I got news for you. Nothing you're doing is working. And I don't know any better than you do. And Fred, you're on the radio. Yeah, I'm on the radio for 4 hours, and you can. And at least there's a nuance. It's my opinions, but there is no value in just screaming and yelling and just creating a wall of white noise to punish someone. Because if I'm Jiren Duran, now all you're doing is pissing me off, and you're being silly too. Like, oh, Jiren Duran should be suspended a year. Oh, yeah, right. Let's go through your life. And all the zero mistakes you've ever made, or all the non-inappropriate things, everything out of your mouth is so perfect and appropriate. Well, I never said that word. Yeah, but I guarantee you said stuff joking around or someone else, or when you were angry that you wouldn't want on tape and you wouldn't want in the press. So stop with you're on a high horse. You're on the internet like everyone else. We all have phones. We all have the ability to do it. You're not doing any good. You're doing bad. You're part of the problem. You're making it worse for people. You're making life worse for everyone. And in that little dopamine rush you get, you're a stupid idiot. And it's pathetic. It's very sad. The whole thing. The whole thing. I'm on the right side. Okay, good. You have nothing to do with any of this. Well, I'm just exposing it. No, you're not. You're not doing anything. You're just yelling into the ether and creating a wall of noise. If you really cared, you would teach someone what to do and why what they're saying is dangerous. Not just blah, blah, blah. And then along with everything else you've yelled about in the history of your life. And then you bring in politics because that's what everyone's thinking, because that's what's in control of all your thoughts. All right, we'll be back. It's our anniversary, Hardy. The station anniversary. And before this station, where were you going to get commentary like that? I mean, yeah. All right, so we'll be back in just a moment.
Beasley FM and HD Boston 98.5. The Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
The Red Sox let a 3-1 7th-inning lead get away and were down 4-3 in the 10th inning last night at Fenway. However, staring down a 5th straight loss, they bounced back.
Refsnyder on a line, left center field, and that's down, and that's the ball game. Good night from Fenway.
At ESPN, Rob Refsnyder delivered the Sox a 5-4 win over Texas. They're now 2 games out of a playoff spot, and they'll play the Rangers again tonight. Jiren Duran suspended for 2 games without pay by the team and Major League Baseball after his anti-gay slur towards a fan while batting on Sunday. Patriots will hold a joint practice with Philadelphia this morning ahead of the exhibition game between the 2 teams in Foxborough Thursday night. The practice begins at 10:30 and is the last one that's open to the public. ESPN reported yesterday multiple teams have called the Patriots about a possible trade for hold-in defensive lineman Matthew Judon. Jets pass rusher Hassan Reddick has told the team he wants to be traded. He's entering the final year of his contract and has held out ever since camp began. The team responded quickly yesterday by saying they have no intention of dealing him, and the Celtics will reportedly open up next season, October 22nd at TD Garden against the Knicks, where the players will get their championship rings and the franchise will raise another banner to the rafters. Sports Hub headlines are brought to you by the FM Championship in Boston. The LPGA is back. Don't miss the FM Championship August 29th. Down at TPC Boston. September 1st is the end date. Visit fmchampionship.com to buy your tickets now. I'm John Wallach at Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update at 9:30.
No matter where you go, you're always connected to Boston sports with the 98.5 The Sports Hub app. Download it wherever you get your apps today. Now, more Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
This sounds exactly like the end of WKRP in Cincinnati. It really does. It's the same guitar tone, everything. Hey, we're Toucher and Hardy, and we're brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And you can find us on YouTube. Search 98.5 The Sports Hub on YouTube and subscribe. And also on YouTube, there's videos of the station as we celebrate our 15th anniversary. These videos are actually very well done, and it is all the personalities on the radio station talking about various things that have happened during our 15 years of excellence. And it is believed that 2011, the Bruins winning the Cup, was, I think that's when we first started becoming number one.
Yeah.
The station as a whole.
Yep.
What's good is, to my recollection, like all the shows did it kind of at the same time. There wasn't one show that like ran away and was like this huge hit, while the other shows were languishing. It seems like the tide brought all waters higher.
Carter Allen beat us in the middays for a while. We
I don't worry about that anymore.
Rose up significantly, but Carter Allen was he was a tough out.
And a lead-in. And here's the deal, is that, we have audio, Hardy, of the video that is up on YouTube right now. If you search 98.5 The Sports Hub, it wasn't great, but it was something. You know, he didn't have to clean up diarrhea for the first hour of his show. Here is what we had to say about that magical 2011.
Blocked down by Giroux. He'll clear it. And the Flyers with a comeback for the history books from 0-3 down to win the series in 7 games.
The Bruins winning the Cup in 2011. I remember thinking, the Red Sox lost in 0-3 to the Yankees. They came back more motivated than ever, and they won the World Series. It can happen like that, where a team gets embarrassed, and then all of a sudden it's like, we're not going to leave anything to chance the next time around.
There was still no knowledge that you could talk hockey in Boston and make it work and get ratings. And so I thought you could. I wanted to, but I didn't know. And I do remember in 2010 that Bruins playoff, I keep saying run. He lost in the second round. But, you know, that I do remember that year. They were a good team that year. And there was some buzz with that playoff series. And I remember we got some traction. I don't remember if the ratings reflected it necessarily, but I don't know, maybe the phones. Maybe just you can feel when people are listening.
I mean, I was around that team constantly. I was in the locker room all the time, stepping on the B ignorantly and everything else.
There was a lot of expectations for that team. But I think, as I say, a lot of curiosity coming off what had happened the year before that, you know, are they going to be able to move forward here and put together a good season?
Now off this draw, Patriots will play it out, and he got drilled by Chara between the benches.
That's a good hit. I mean, he ran in. There's a stanchion of support in between the two benches, and I mean, there's nothing malicious about this hit, I don't think.
The Montreal thing was a whole nother chapter.
This whole thing of having Chara a potential police investigation and having him arrested is maybe the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
CJAD called us out of nowhere today and said, let's do a simulcast.
You think this is a setup?
Can we please? Thank you. CJAD, News Talk Radio in Montreal. It's the Rick Peterson Show.
The CJAD wants justice. A police investigation has started here. The mayor is emotional about it, as you are. How's it been playing out in Boston, is my wonder. We're going to find out right now. We're going to WBZ-FM.
Oh, these Canadian broadcasters. Hachi Machi.
Damn it.
Oh, moly.
I didn't know this was a part of it, but this is good.
English language, Montreal English language broadcasting is not the top of the line. It is not the top of the line. It's bad, generally bad. All right, let's hear.
Simulcast with them, tie both stations together and have a discussion that you can be part of.
That's the one team I still hate like a fan, and that's Montreal. And so that was, I guess, good timing that, you know, our show could represent that.
Why don't we open it up, guys? Aside from the Red Sox, Patriots, and Celtics. Go ahead.
Our show could represent that.
Why don't we open it up, guys?
We'll take a break. Fans yahoos, eh? That's not over the top.
Well, no. What's calling a 911 number to arrest an opposing player other than Yahooism? It is the definition.
You ever hear frustration, fellas? You ever hear of anger and bitterness?
Well, then call the league. Call the league.
Guys.
Call a sports talk radio show. What are you calling the cops? Are you nuts?
Time out in Boston. Time out in Montreal.
Where no one really represented that in a sports radio context before.
That guy screaming timeout. You're actually having a good heated discussion back and forth. Timeout. Let's put the brakes on this captivating content and make sure we hit the commercial breaks precisely on time.
And this guy's being serious that every time you express you feel frustration, that emotion, you should call the police to rectify it. I'm pretty frustrated. If you could call 911. You've never heard of frustration before? It's not only like, and if you ask that guy, he'd be like, I'm the classy one. But his point was, don't you know anything about frustration? Yeah. And then his idea of broadcasting is if anyone shows any true emotion, to be shut down. Isn't that funny? Like the professional broadcaster had this dumbest point. A really, really dumb point.
Has it backwards. It's amazing.
Well, it's not even backwards. It's just so dumb. Like, you've never heard of emotion? Yeah, I have. And I've never considered calling 911. It's the police in Canada. It's the police. Every time that I feel a negative emotion, it's the police's job to sort it out.
Call the Canadian Royal Mounted Police.
I mean, what a dumb point, you know? All right, go ahead.
Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final about to begin at Rogers Arena in Vancouver.
The game's in Boston.
By the way, just the one thing I'll never forget when those guys finally disconnected the line. They're like, that's it. We're all done with those guys. And, you know, we couldn't hear what they said after that, and they just disconnected the line. And on this end, Felger and Maz were still there like, what, we're gone? And Maz just said, we play to the whistle. Because they just kept screaming after they've been disconnected. They didn't even know they had cut the line up in Montreal.
Well, it had gotten too interesting.
Yeah.
Just blowouts for the Bruins. They weren't even close. They chased Luongo a couple of times.
Eberle, long drive, and he scores from the left point. Ryder tipped it in front. Wrist shot, score. Up the way, score. Eberle on the doorstep. And the end to the night for Roberto Luongo. 4 goals on 20 shots, a dozen goals on him over the last 2 games.
I have a line chart I do. And for the rest of Luongo's career, whether he was with Vancouver or Florida, I kept somewhere in his little bio his goals against or the 2011 final in Boston.
Ferrett's a drive and he scores from the left point. Andrew Ferrett's let it go.
Here comes Maury Schneider right now.
The 3-0 lead for the Bruins, and Roberto Luongo is out. Just 8:35 in a game 6.
Just to give myself a little bit of a chuckle that the Bruins just smoked them in the 3 games in Boston.
We were really the home of the Bruins. Like, we were the home of the Bruins. And, you know, even Thornton in the locker room after they went going suck at Felger, like, we were a part of that team. We were. You might not like it, but the station was a part of that team.
Is it okay we use this for the radio?
Absolutely.
All the time. What's your name?
I'm the big scary bad guy.
What do you think of tonight's game?
I think we took that group of you and taught them a lesson. We should have.
By that point, the Bruins were the only team that had not won it in the 2000s, right? Yeah, the Red Sox win 2. The Patriots had won their first 3. The Celtics had won 1 in 08. And I just remember watching some of those parades and thinking to myself, well, if they can win tonight, they'll get their own duck boat parade.
With 5 seconds to go, the exit behind the Canucks net. Get the duck boats ready. Get the duck boats ready. After 39 long years, the cup is back home. The Bruins are 2011 Stanley Cup champions.
One of the coolest moments of my life was being on a float in the Bruins parade. It wasn't anything I did for the Bruins. It was the management of the station, allowed us to go on the boat.
That roar from the crowd, I think there was 1.2 million people in the streets. And I think about it now every time I'm back in Boston.
You know, being in that parade and knowing the players and having, whatever small percentage of the crowd, but the crowd, some of the crowd knowing who we were and appreciating that we were there.
They're saying Freddie.
That's a selfie off the top of the float.
Freddie.
Yeah. It really was one of the coolest things I've ever done. It was very cool, and it was not anything I earned. It was just management let me do it.
It was unbelievable to see that many people in one spot. And to think, this team finally broke through and did it.
But being on a position to be on a float in Boston in front of 1 million people was insane, in a great life experience.
And then there was the computer farts to end it.
98.5 The Sports Hub.
I don't know if
That's
I could be
how
more
it is. We cut that off.
more clear about how I was on the float.
Yeah, it's a little too much Fred in that video.
Well,
for my taste.
Too much Fred in that video. Too much Fred in the video they just posted online. There's another one they just posted.
The Rick Pitino hang up.
Rick Pitino hang up.
Which you go, that's not a big deal, and that's the whole point of the video, is that it was not a big deal, but it became a very big deal, and it was kind of the moment that I realized, because it's a stupid thing, who cares? You hung up on Rick Pitino. It wasn't even only our interview. He was on a junket. I booked him from a junket. Who cares? And I hung up on him, and I went, oh, who cares? And then it blew up into this thing where I was talking to, the Matt Chernoff. Not Matt Chernoff. I was talking to, what's his face from CBS?
Mel Karmazan?
No, just under him. He's a bigwig now over at Odyssey.
Joel,
I'll never.
If you're gonna
Chris
put,
Olivero. I was talking to Chris Olivero about it.
If you're gonna put,
I was in Sports Illustrated when it was still a magazine.
Everybody can second guess once all the work goes in, and this is annoying. But if you're going to, do a 15-year anniversary video of Fred Toucher and a telephone, I would have gone this way.
Final hour. Larry on the South Shore, though, is going to stick with the Pats to get us going here. Larry, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, I've always been a big fan. Troop, you are something else. I'll tell you, I've been around this town for a long time, and you're a class act.
Thank you.
Brady yesterday, he's been showing a lot of heart, a lot of gumption, a lot of chutzpah. and it reminds me, it's not something that I'm not familiar with. I went to a school in Cambridge, and it all came down to passing a swimming test. And Lord knows I was scared of the water. I mean, it gave me the creeps. And now I passed that. I went to high school. Now I got the biggest office in the whole damn place,
I mean, that's got an anniversary video written all over.
Chachi couldn't pass a swimming test, so that was keeping him from graduating his school in Cambridge. That's very true. That pesky water. They never made Ringo swim. They just said, "Can you keep a beat?" And he went, "No." And they said, "You're still in." And then years later, people are going to insist you were a good drummer just because they want to sound different. I don't know if he's a good drummer or not. What do I know about drums? Well, you can see all these videos. 434 views, the Bruins one. So and you can tell I dressed up for the whole affair. I'm the one who looks like a child. My daughter saw
I think you and I both forgot we were doing it that day. We're both wearing like T-shirts.
Yeah, my daughter was like, "Why are you dressed so much differently than everyone else?" She said, "You look great." Mm-hmm. But,
And Wallach is dressed down, but he did that on purpose. He's like, I'm just going to kick back in this interview chair and let you know what's going on.
Yeah, let me tell you about when that cat hung up on Patino, baby. I never was a fan of the phone because I know that thing could be tapped. They be checking out. I was good with my connections. The white horse, it can trample you, Jack, if you're not careful. They put fentanyl in my seed.
What?
They put fentanyl in my seed.
Okay. Do you want
I was pecking at the mirror all night.
Do you want to? You want to do the Patino?
No, I can do it tomorrow.
All right. It just got posted though on the YouTube channel 98.5 The Sports Hub. Smash that subscribe button.
And you're gonna go, "Oh, Fred, it wasn't that big a deal." Again, that was the whole point of the video: is that sports radio, you were judged on such a different level.
Yeah.
Like you get in trouble for things here. Or there's controversial stuff here that never would be controversial in a rock format. Not at all. Still to this day. Still to almost present day. There's things that if I was on Rock 92.9 or whatever the hell station,
and then it turned
no one
into,
would care.
And then it turned into you hanging up on a lot of people. And then it turned into, it's shock jock. And then what was it? It was Patino. It was Theo Fleury. It was one other guy.
But Patino was the only guy that I said before it, I'm going to hang up. The Theo Fleury thing was great because it was so organic. Like he kept not doing the show.
Right.
Like that,
right.
There was a whole reason to it. And then the Walton thing, I hung up on him because he was bothering me. The country bumpkin hockey guy I hung up on too, he was bothering me. Terrell Owens wouldn't answer any of our questions.
Well, Terrell Owens deserved it.
Well, they all deserved it.
Terrell Owens was the biggest a-hole out of all of them.
I mean, and listen, but the Patino was the only time that I went beforehand. Was Dan, were you here?
Was there a
Patino?
Yeah.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah, I told you beforehand.
You came to me because, yes, that was the only one that I knew about.
Well, us in the studio had no idea.
You guys did not.
We had no clue.
You can hear them laugh. You guys laughing uncomfortably, and then you don't know that he's gone.
Yeah, you told me about it, Fred.
Yeah.
Time, so.
That was instinct on my part, not to tell the other fellas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So they would react, and they would react more organically.
Yep.
Yeah. That's just that you can't buy that kind of, that kind of.
That's the instinct that screams number one. That's
oh,
what it
baby.
Yep.
Oof. And look at my life now.
All aces, kid.
I've been number one for a long time. Look at it. You couldn't live a better lifestyle.
Yeah, man. Awesome.
You're the happiest guy I know.
I'm so happy. I mean, I've gotten everything I could ever want. I'm so happy. This is what I've devoted my life to. It's paid off so much. And I like how you just have to keep feeding it, or then everyone will get mad when it doesn't happen anymore. All right, we'll be back with our big email segment in just a moment.
for making us your home for sports for the past 15 years. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
You know, I got an idea for a bit. The email bit. We should do the email bit. It's a great idea. Let's do the email bit.
Hey, we are Toucher and Hardy, and it is our award-winning email segment. John, Jon, no H, at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Hardy at 98.5 The Sports Hub. Toucher at 98.5 The Sports Hub. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Toucher and Hardy. You can follow us on Instagram at Toucher and Hardy, and at Fred Toucher, and at Hardy 98.5, and at Ken Griffey Rules, and Ken Griffey's number one, and Ken Griffey this and that.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Jim says, Duran, your extended ranting about Duran is making you look worse. Worse as opposed to what?
Well, how is it making you look worse?
No, but just worse. That's a weird way to put it. Like, worse than what? It make you look bad would be the thing. Make you look worse.
Yeah, worse than Jiren Duran.
Okay.
Well, that's you're inferring something that I can't take just from that sentence.
I took it that way.
To use your words, he's a fully formed adult, not a child. I didn't say fully formed adult. To suggest the only right approach should be a gay person who's been bullied their entire life sit down and explain it to him is offensive. Stop defending the guy. I've never defended Jiren Duran at all. I said that people screaming and yelling and not doing any teaching are adding to the problem. And as I read this email, you'll see my point. Stop defending the guy, which is not right. So there you're just screaming and yelling nonsense. You know, the more about half your listeners are more on Trump fans, right? See, again,
always bring the politics into it. Now
you don't get anything. You don't understand what the hell I'm saying at all. You didn't get one point of what I was saying. You missed it all, you moron. You're an idiot. You literally missed everything I was saying. You dumbass. Now I'm mad at you because you are so ignorant, and you're taking something I said and completely arranging it in a way to make yourself feel good. So you can feel good getting this email off to me. At least I appreciate that it was an email. The email I actually respect rather than social media garbage. Giving them all an erection, essentially, likely cheering you on. Reader comments to posted articles are always stupid in reaction to many topics. This is the one you can't let go? No, this is the one that I chose to focus on. I mean, I can't focus on every one. I just knew that when he said it, that people were going to state the obvious. In defending Jiren Duran, I never defended him or said he shouldn't have been suspended. All I'm talking about is how exactly what you're doing with this email. Misrepresenting things that I said, bringing politics into it, saying that the only thing is a bullied gay guy could approach him. I never said that. I said, why don't you tell him by using slurs like that have real life negative consequences for people? That was what I said. And bullying is one of them, is one of the consequences, Jim. That's the problem. You're the problem. You are the problem. The dopamine fix that you just got from that. Jiren Duran saying that didn't do anything to you, Jim. It didn't do anything to you. It had no literal effect in your life. Your life has not changed one iota since he said that. Nothing he said in the dominoes of life and in this existence, the way that life is laid out, has changed for you at all. But yet this is how visceral a reaction you've had to it. And I can assure you that you've had this visceral reaction to dozens of news stories so far this year. And the thing is that your brain's not even organizing the information right. You're reacting to things that didn't even happen. You're reacting to things that I didn't even say.
But he got a little dopamine rush from sending the emails.
Yeah,
so
this whole victimization, this whole now you are the victim. Now you're the victim. You just prove my point. Moron.
Let's get back to the anniversary.
This guy says, Tyler says, I was talking about receivers in the first round. He said, Kevin White with the Bears and John Ross with the Bengals sucked. And he said, Corey Davis sucked. I don't know if Corey Davis sucked. It was more of an injury issue.
And wasn't the argument more of like a real top 5, top 10 guy?
Yes. Yes.
Wasn't that the argument? Maybe people just aren't hearing us. Maybe we need a filter to get through to some portion of the population.
I don't mind
that's not paying attention.
The sports thing doesn't bother me, but to come back with an email is exactly what I was just talking
and
about.
Delivering out of the playbook you were railing
exactly.
against. It's really
It's almost
odd.
like you wrote an email, maybe knowing that it would get read. I hope that it was written. It maybe in the spirit of it being read, so I could react to it.
Justin says, John, it's just a gay slur. You're saying anti-gay slur.
Okay.
Which is the opposite.
That'd be going after people that were anti-gay.
Oh, all right. Well, we certainly don't want to do that.
No. Well, no, you said that sarcastically.
No, but
so I
of
don't
course,
know what
Wallach is cool with everybody. It doesn't matter, man. Hey,
Man,
however you want to swing.
However you want to swing, that ain't my business. I had a manager one time that for dope. I used to pleasure.
Okay, that's it.
I had a gay manager, man.
Oh no!
And when I was jonesing, baby, he was always there. He said, like, I want to treat you like a lady would treat you.
Don't.
And I said, sure thing, Jack. I'd get in his car and he'd be like, I want to treat you. Pretend I'm a lady. And I'd say, all right, man. Let me make you feel good. I say, I'm down with that, Jack. As long as you can make... I'm jonesing.
Frank on the email says, I love Jazz Wallach.
Yeah, he's the one. I'm glad you found the one.
He said... Wallach 98 1 2 3 4 5, giving every drippity droppity of every babe line would be sweeter than strawberry wine.
Dave says this. Every once in a while, there's something so stupid yet so perfect it makes me realize how elite the show is. Yesterday, your ridiculous stand and deliver impromptu segment had me absolutely doubled over with laughter.
Stand and deliver. Yeah. A negative times a negative equals a positive.
It's sand in the beach.
A negative times a negative equals a positive. Again. Think cool.
She's top story.
Mr. Escalante, it's too hot in here.
You ever dig in the beach?
Think cool.
You ever dig in the beach? The sand that comes out, that's the positive. The sand that goes in, that's a negative.
I snap your neck.
I snap your neck, finger man.
Go down the rabbit hole of his interactions with the gang members. It doesn't make any sense.
Finger man, I got fingers too, yeah. Check it out.
Mr. Escalante, we got the new computers. Yep, that'll do it.
Yeah, look what I did, the AP kids.
There was no reason it should have been that funny. No, there wasn't. But I had tears streaming down my face at my meaningless job. I couldn't breathe. I was laughing so hard. Make of this what you will, but the show is funnier when Wallach is on. It's probably the comfort level.
Oh.
Hey.
If you guys don't find an excuse to play the Olympic Minute as part of the anniversary celebration, I will be hurt deeply. What's the Olympic
I remember
Minute?
the Olympic Minute.
The Olympic Minute was a Hardy and Troop show where Keefe was on headlines that day. And to do his segment, the Olympic Minute, he did a segment on Valerie Borchin, I believe was the...
No, I thought that was Gosher. That was Gosher discussing that. No, that was him?
It was Keefe who tried to tell the story of the Olympic race walker who had some kind of a physical episode.
Leakage.
And lost control of their...
Yes.
Themselves.
Yes. As I call it, the gold medal moment.
In the middle of the... No, not gold.
No, it was gold. Yes, it was. You're mistaken. Lots of bile.
There's all kinds of stuff coming out, and Keefe could not get through the segment, and then tried to do the headlines afterward, where he played a clip of Bobby Valentine and said, well, because there was a blown save in the game, and Valentine said, things were going pretty well, and then leakage in the ninth.
That's right.
Leakage in the ninth. Yeah. And he just can't. He can't continue it.
Bobby, say something in your press conference that fits in with the girl going pool. I'll do it for you.
I don't know if that makes it. Well, I mean, these are coming out not just all today, but there's some tomorrow. There's some on Thursday. So there are more videos and more
the anal linkage,
remembrances.
The anal leakage video comes out very soon. Tell us about the time you talked about the lady going poo.
There's a very, very graphic email from Craig congratulating us on our 15 years anniversary here.
He's a big fan of Nick.
But he says that he talks about Nick's mud pie and the little machine beating in his heart now and everything else. And it's too graphic to read, but congrats to 15 more years with Nick and his mud pies. So,
yeah. Jazz Wallach from Timma. You know why there's no H in John? I kicked that junk in the 90s. And I got off this smack. And from now on, there ain't no H in John, Jack.
Where'd you switch over to, Jazz Waller? How do you get high now?
Scripture.
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
I turned my back on H and Judaism. Now I roll Goy, Jack. I met myself a Goy lady. She loves the Hallmark film.
Put the H in Jesus H Christ, because I get high on God.
Yeah, take the H out of John and put it in between Jesus and Christ. I can put the O in God now. I don't have to put the dash no more. On the account I ain't Jewish no more. Even though I still go to the Jersey Shore, it's very confusing. But I don't go to Margate. I go to the Goy Park.
Ocean City.
Ocean City,
Yes.
which is not as nice as Margate. But I can't stand facing all the people I turn my back on.
Stop me at the board.
You got one, so it should be better. Why isn't this better?
No.
Oh. Saul, man. Get me out of this car. Let me get my H. You gotta drive me to the cop spot, man. All right, very good. There you go. We got a new character today. Jazz Wallach.
That's right. Happy
Jazz
anniversary.
Wallach. Jazz cigarettes. That's the best reference to weed. Anytime a comedian or a show will use, and they were into jazz cigarettes instead of joints, that's always a good laugh for me. Jazz cigarettes. All right, we'll be back with the big stack on our 15th anniversary. It's time for all of us to have time off. John just got back from vacation. That's why he's so fresh and with it. We'll be back in just a moment.
Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox beat Texas last night.
deals on new Fords, then turn the music down, baby, and go to the best first. Best Ford in Nashua. Head to thebestford.com. And
That just crashed.
So there's no commercials?
There will be, yeah.
No, there better be. The audience demands it.
They will. In 9 minutes, they'll get them.
And here's the deal, is that we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel. And before the end of the show, I will give away, or we as a collective will give away, tickets for the preseason game versus the Eagles, which should be good because Drake May should play a lot of snaps, your first chance to really get a good look at him. So I will not even make fun of this giveaway because there is a reason to go. You can say that you saw Drake May. All right, what's going on, Hardy? What do we yet to get to? There's so much excitement with the anniversary and everything else. What do we got to get to?
98.5 The Sports Hub.
There's cake coming in. Everyone loves cake.
You think that's exciting? Local activists and supporters of gender equality say they will go topless in Boston this Saturday to advocate for the right to equal treatment under Massachusetts law.
These are all going to be the women that you want to see topless, that you fantasize
every single
about.
time. The Top Freedom Protest. This is a partnership. There are a couple of different groups involved. They're challenging the law that makes it illegal for women to expose their breasts.
We've
in
always,
public.
I've had this.
While not breastfeeding.
I've had this argument, not argument, because no one's ever disagreed with me. I've had this discussion on the air before. I can't believe that if you challenge this to the Supreme Court that they would have to rule in favor of the women. There's no way in modern society that you can say men can walk around legally without shirts on and women can't. That's ridiculous. And isn't it funny, and maybe cool in a way, I guess, because it does add some mystery, but isn't it interesting that we have deemed breasts, like just arbitrarily deemed breasts as being something that cannot be exposed?
Well, it's like Julia Roberts explains to Hugh Grant, of course, in the role of Anna Scott, and she is.
Yeah, that girl Hugh Grant was with work for me.
She's speaking to.
That was one of my ladies.
William Thacker in Notting Hill. What is it with the obsession with breasts? I mean, every other person on the planet has them. Your mother has them. They give milk. What is the obsession?
I think that she just hit the nail on the head. It has something to do with our mothers.
Oh. Oh, do you need a moment?
Freud, calling Dr. Freud.
Right.
I like when people do that.
Anyway, the protest is going to be on Saturday on Boston Common. Starting at 1 p.m., they will gather at the Embrace statue and then make their way along parts of the Freedom Trail and to the State House.
Man, I knew a girl with the Freedom Trail.
Participants of all genders are encouraged to go
She'd set you
bare-chested.
free down there. That's what we called it. The Freedom Trail. It was a little trail of hair from a belly button. What?
No, that's not what that is.
I was.
Do you know who Angel Salazar is, Fred?
Yeah, she's one of my hoes.
No, this is a man.
Yeah.
Angel Salazar.
Yeah,
He was
like
an
I said, it's one of my hoes.
He was an actor in a 1983 cult classic. Would you care to guess? Angel Salazar. And what 1983 movie celebrated?
La Bamba?
Not even in. No, the 83 is too early for La Bamba.
Oh, my bad.
People celebrated for the wrong reasons, though. You and I have said on many occasions.
Oh, the 1983 movie?
Yes.
We talk about it?
Yes, we talk about
it's
it a
a
lot.
cult. Is it a comedy?
It is not a comedy. It's more than a cult. I mean, this was a massive hit and still resonates to this day. People have posters and they say, I want to be like this guy.
Oh, Scarface.
Scarface. Angel Salazar played Chi-Chi in Scarface, as in Chi-Chi, get the yayo. Mm-hmm. And the motel room in there in Miami where Hector, and I am Hector. This is Martha. Okay, Hector? Martha?
You like that, Tony? You want to sleep with me? You finally got me. Wah!
Oh, this is good. He's doing a Scarface impression. Go ahead.
Oh!
This is Scarface at like the final scene.
Oh.
Ah! Is this what you want? Is this what you want, Tony? Ah! Thank you.
Really good. Really good.
Fine, you got it, Tony. You killed him. You got me, Tony. It's very strange.
Salazar played Chi-Chi, who is not only the guy who saves Tony in that motel room, he's the one who bursts in. He's got the little hat on.
Yeah,
Chi-Chi,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Plays that. He's
shorter than Al Pacino.
He's the last one to die before Tony Montana gets it. So he is.
You never see it coming.
He's the last of Tony's crew to be killed, leaving the Kingpin all alone.
It's the part of the movie that it seems everyone missed. Him getting gunned down and him wanting his sister accusing him of wanting to sleep with her. The end of that movie, from people that idolize the character, is it's the end of the movie is not a good. Like, if you're Oliver Stone, you have to be thinking, like, Oliver Stone made that movie, right? You got to be thinking like
Brian De Palma.
Brian De Palma. You got to be going like, oh Jesus, you guys missed the point. Brian De Palma thought he was probably making like some gritty, like anti-crime movie.
Well, it's kind of like the creators of The Sopranos. Who there was a long-running theory that they ended the Sopranos series the way they did because people were glorifying all these characters and people loved Tony Soprano and they thought all these guys were cool. And he was like, "You're missing the point. These were all very, very, very bad people." And just to kind of like give you what for at the very end, I'm just going to end this thing and turn it off, much like the way people get turned off and their lives end when they get killed by these guys.
Well, that's got to be really frustrating for The Sopranos because it's more than just like an hour and a half that you had this like life, that like this world that you laid out for them. And it's not like very hidden beneath the surface. I mean, they couldn't be more obvious than Tony going to a therapist and talking to a therapist. He literally goes to a therapist as a vehicle of the show on a consistent basis and talks about his problems. Just to go like cool gangsters is, I mean, you're so whiffing on the point of the show
right.
that it's got to be very frustrating.
Right.
And by the way, I miss on the point of art constantly, so I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying that if you're the creator of it, I could see that being frustrating. Like, I mean, I just read an email that I had made a point, and the guy in the email yells at me, and he like just everything is almost like Bizarro World, like in his point. It's got to be it's frustrating for me because I'm trying to teach one, reach one, reach one, teach one.
Right. So more anniversary stuff coming out. The video of Fred's hang up on Rick Pitino that was just released. We'll do that tomorrow. Something that happened with me on the Felger and Maz program years ago. We'll get to that one tomorrow. More videos coming up. YouTube. Subscribe to 98.5 The Sports Hub. And
Finally,
you'll see
that's why I reached out to you instead of Fred. I just sent a snarky text message to him. I'm not in Falmouth. I'm on my way to Waltham.
Well, you should go out there and make your peace.
Ring, ring. What now?
You have tickets to give away? We're going to do before the end here? Give your tickets away.
Caller right number 10 right now. The Sports Hub contest line 617-931-090. Get a pair of tickets for Thursday's Patriots preseason game versus Philly. Enjoy that. Enjoy the videos up on YouTube. They're very well done. Congratulations on everyone who made those. Kelly and Rick and everyone else that made those videos. They're very good.
Jimmy Lau.
The
video team.
They weren't in there when I was in there. It was just Kelly and Rick.
Who's running the camera?
Kelly and Rick.
Wow.
Kelly was running the camera when I was in there. So give Kelly some credit. Stop trying to take it away from her.
No, the video team won't work with you. That's what that is.
Yeah, they know who's a diva. And I am. That'll do it for us. Everyone have a fantastic day. Bye.
You're listening to Toucher and Hardy on the Sports Hub.
You gotta try the 99 Restaurant's new $14.99 Big Deal Meals. For hearty, full-sized entrees for just $14.99 every Monday.